Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. How's everybody doing? Good, good, good. I'm glad to hear that everybody's doing very well. David, what's up? How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? Just sending out the link about the Taliban's war on women.
Taliban, Taliban.
And then I have to say,
Sweet home Taliban. Yeah. Yes. So, have you heard about these Taliban guys, David?
yeah, they're basically the Mike Wingers of Islam. Sorry, I was just looking at that. I got distracted as I went to post this on Twitter, and then there's Mike Winger who what do you call that when he what is it? He tags me. He tags me. He put my name in a little thing. He says picture credit to David Wood, and it's got him as Spot. I didn't have anything to do with that except calling him a nerd. So that's like layers removed. Anyway, another lie by a Christian apologist.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So why do you think people love the Taliban?
Everyone loves the Taliban because they're based, right?
Yeah.
In a world where everyone is not based, they're super based.
If I were to give an explanation the way people give an explanation to the rise of Andrew Tate and the justifications for Andrew Tate about the Taliban, I would probably say, well, it's in our time, masculinity is, I don't know, being neglected, society is being corrupted, and there are no proper figures to look up to, and there's a vacuum and this and that, and the Taliban, of course, came in that vacuum and took advantage of it. And of course, they have some very good points, and they do some very, very good things, And of course, I don't like the Taliban. I don't like most of what they're doing, but we have to admit that they're also doing some great, fantastic things. And unfortunately, there is just some global agenda. The globalists are trying to go after the Taliban.
Say it right.
Vilify them.
Say it right. The Jews.
The Jews. Yeah.
He's like this global network. You know who you're talking about.
Yeah. It's kind of funny though when some people go and talk about the globalists and adopt the very, very same talking points, but don't actually mean the Jews, but they mean some secret people that are apparently hiding somewhere and sitting at a round table every day, and they're like, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, what are we doing today? Well, I heard that Andrew Tate again said something that we simply cannot agree with. He said, being a man is very important. How about...
He's encouraging the youth to work hard!
Send in the DCOT, Terrorism and Organized Crime Agency. Crack down on him. We can no longer allow the promotion of masculinity. We want to make everyone gay! Yeah. Anyway, so that's what's apparently happening behind
now, here's what we shall doeth. Yes. Here's what we'll do. We'll CGI a bunch of videos from him from years ago, claiming that he has been molesting a 15-year-old girl and compelling her to do sex work for him. And the videos will look completely real, and they will even be on his website for years.
Actually, what happened is that they time traveled and put everything on his timeline and made him do all of those things.
His encouragement of young boys is so dangerous to our agenda of turning the frogs gay.
Yeah.
And we are going to activate the time machine. Go back in time. Post all these videos on his site.
Well. David, have you heard that there is a debate upcoming tomorrow between Rabbi Shmuley and Candace Owens?
That's tomorrow?
Oh wait, that's not tomorrow. It's tomorrow in 1 week, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was. I don't remember when it was, but I thought it was in September.
Yeah, maybe it's next week. I don't know. What do you think about that? I heard you're a very big fan of both Rabbi Shmuley and Kenneth Owens, and it's hard for you to decide where you stand on that right now.
I've always liked Rabbi Shmuley when he was debating um, when he was debating Michael Brown back in the. I don't know. I like debaters, even if you're on a completely different side from me. I like people who stand up and here's my case, and also can be friendly with it. So he's friends with Michael Brown. It's not like with the Dawa guys when you're like mortal enemies when you're not debating. They would have massive debates about whether Jesus was the Messiah, whether Christianity is anti-Semitic, and so on. They would have these debates, and yet they would get along. As hey, we're debating, we're disagreeing, and we're friends. So that was always cool. He did seem to kind of go off the deep end since October 7th. I don't know if he was always a little off the deep end, but was just restraining it in the past, or if something like kind of snap, because you saw like, I mean, even like Ben Shapiro, he changed afterwards. He changed after it happened and started acting different, and you can understand. I mean, lots of people change after like 9/11 and so on, so it can happen.
I mean, I have to say, I changed significantly after October 7th. I myself changed. I get it. I have seen lots of people tell me, "Oh, I was such a big fan, but since this whole Israel thing, I don't know. I don't like what you're doing and all that." It is a very significant thing that really changed a lot of people in their approach. Yeah, continue.
Oh yeah. So anyway, yeah, his behavior, some of his behavior got kind of weird afterwards, but I'm suspecting it's going to be entertaining. And hey, it is.
No doubt about that.
Hey, by the way, it is weird because I'm thinking, well, Candace changed a lot over the past past year or so too. So yeah, apparently you had I don't know, you had people who basic something set them off, and then everyone fighting over it caused people to go to more extreme behavior after that, to dial things up and so on. So anyway,
the thing is, I didn't know anything about Rabbi Shmuley before
we should be live. We should be live Wednesday right after that.
Before October 7th, before he started coming on the scene once again on Piers Morgan and all that, and debating things, and then debating with Mohammed Hijab. And at first I thought he was kind of just carried away by Mohammed Hijab's attitude and all that. But then seeing how he had his back and forth with Candace and others, it became really painful to watch. And it's like Candace is such a terrible person, and it's unbelievable that a well-known man goes on a fight with her and actually makes her look better. And that's kind of what people are complaining about. I see a lot of reactions from Jews.
Who's that? So this is Saul. That's funny. America's rabbi versus America's anti-Semite.
Saul here says, next week, Piers Morgan hosts the fight nobody has been waiting for. Grandiose narcissism takes on paranoid schizophrenia to prove which is the most self-destructive personality disorder.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. I don't think anyone is doubting that this is going to be entertaining. No one's doubting that.
That's true. That's true. I see lots of, even this major account, Mossad Satirical, said, "Hi, Piers Morgan. Is it too late to pick someone else for our team?" So, yeah, people are a little bit worried about Rabbi Shmuley and how he has been conducting himself lately.
I hope he calms down, because he's a good debater. He's a good debater. He's just been unhinged for the past years. So.
But yeah, it's probably going to be very, very entertaining. Very, very, very entertaining.
Hey, what you were saying about what you were saying about the Taliban being based, and similar situation to Andrew Tate, even though Tate was completely fake. So Tate is someone who found out that what he'd been doing for years was actually illegal, and that he'd been bragging about it, and that he had video tutorials on it, and that there's endless evidence that he did all these things. And all of a sudden he finds out, wait, that's all illegal? That stuff is illegal. That's trafficking? Oh my goodness. No one ever told me that these things are illegal.
I didn't know that.
And so he morphed himself. He took the temperature of the culture And the temperature of the culture was everything's going so crazy. We need someone to just take a stand for what's right. And so he became what would do well, and transformed himself and so on. But you have the same thing going on with like the Taliban. It's like, oh, look, the entire world is going insane. Well, guess what? If we just all go back to 7th century Arabia and we walk, talk, live, eat, drink, everything like 7th century Arab caravan robbers, then you've got a measure of stability. And that's something people need to be aware of, because that as people in the West become increasingly more divided and increasingly more insane, Islam is like a Taliban route just starts slow. Oh, wow, isn't that at least they're stable? And that's actually been Islam's playbook for a long time, in the sense that you have, with the idea of terrorists is, if we just keep terrorizing you and terrorizing and terrorizing you until you never feel safe, you're always wondering where the next terrorist attack is going to come from. You don't feel safe sending your kids out, anything. Everything is like a constant nightmare. And you can solve that all by just submitting to everything. That's the only time that Sharia looks like an option to serious people, is when, okay, it's either chaos and endless terror and destruction, or you can submit to this nonsense, where at least you'll have some measure of stability. So they want our only options to be chaos or Sharia oppression. And there are people who will choose Sharia oppression over chaos. And so you find that all over the world. You got that with the Taliban. Tate took advantage of it, and something to be aware of, because it's only going to get worse, guys. Only going to get worse.
You mean this guy here? So it's getting really bad for him. It's the whole issue of him grooming women, grooming girls, is now becoming a public matter. We still need to make a show specifically on that. I think on Saturday I want to talk about Andrew Tate.
Yeah, there's so much new stuff. So much new stuff came out.
Yeah, first off, they count 49 victims, but they also have specifically underage women. And in fact, the video that we were pointing out quite often, where he says that his one girl has been with him since she was 15. That's basically what he's implying. That is apparently part of the set of videos that got him in trouble, where the authorities also investigated and came to the conclusion that indeed one of the women that he has with him was groomed by him and was with him since she was 15 years old, and has been going through some massive manipulation and mistreatment by him. So it's very funny. That's basically what a grooming organization is. That's what a grooming game is.
AP thinks that grooming girls is funny. Trafficking is all hilarious. It's the most funny thing in the universe.
Yeah,
it's like a comedy show. So
just like Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, Andrew Tate is like Dave Chappelle, but of trafficking, which is even funnier.
I'm really attracted.
Hey, I haven't been reading the actual documents. I've just been reading the posts of Murdered by Crayons and so on, and Milk Bar. But sounds like that girl's now snitching on him.
Yeah.
If that's the same one. But yeah, one of them was saying that he paid her 5,000 euros or whatever to say nothing but good of him after the media started going after him and so on, and he was being charged, and gave her offered her 5,000 euros, but then only ended up paying her like 2,500. So now she's snitching on him. Like, he never paid me the 5. Can you imagine these guys? These guys run their mouths about being billionaires. Total nonsense. But I mean, you can't even pay the girl the entire sum to keep her mouth shut when she's going to be the key witness in you trafficking her when she's a minor, and you don't want to pay her the entire 5,000.
Yeah, and it comes from court documents. But imagine if true, right? Imagine. So if that is exactly as said. So apparently she was told by Andrew Tate to go and say only good things about him, and was promised 5,000 euros. But she didn't get the whole money. She only got half of it. Imagine Andrew Tate is such a great genius, right? Such a great, fantastic genius that he actually bribes one of the most important, witnesses, and then fails to give her the money. And the money is not even a huge amount of money. It's a tiny amount of money compared to what he claims to make and what he has, what is reported about him. It's reported that he made millions, dozens of millions of dollars from his webcam business. But he promises her 5,000 euros and doesn't even pay it.
Doesn't even
I
finish
this
paying.
and I mean, how dumb can you be? How stupid can you be? This is just the guy who walks around. I am the smartest man in the world. I'm a genius. I am so smart. They are all jealous of me because they're not as smart as me. Idiots. What an absolute moron.
You know what that reminds me of? There are all these situations like Monica Lewinsky with Bill Clinton.
Yep.
She was eminently bribable. They didn't do enough to pay her off. She was like, hey, get me a good job over here and this and this and this and that. And then anyway, stuff all came out. Who else? There was one. There was something recently.
She didn't really bring it out by herself. It was kind of the other person kind of started blew up the whole story,
and then
she started speaking on it.
Vince McMahon, he was doing some messed up stuff behind the scenes. And it was the same thing where he agreed to pay a girl but this was like $3 million or something like this, and then didn't finish paying her, didn't pay her. And then she goes and tells all the messed up stuff this guy was into. And it's a situation where that guy's like a billion. I mean, he's a billionaire. And so it's a lot more money than Tate was supposed to pay. Tate had to pay the girl an extra 2,500 euros and he shortchanged her. And now she's a witness for DCOT. But I mean, with Vince McMahon, that was millions. It was millions. And then he ended up not paying her. And then she told, and he had to resign and all this stuff. But like, I don't know, these guys got the money to pay them off and then think, well, I can shortchange them, and then doesn't work out.
Hey, I want to talk at some point about this scumbag here, Dan Bilzerian, but since we're talking about the Taliban, I came across this tweet earlier when I was looking for stuff about the Taliban, and then I wanted to briefly address this because it is just such a stupid talking point, and I didn't even listen to the whole thing. I listened to part of it.
I saw right above that it said, "Why is ISIS only attacking?" Is that what this is about? How many times have we been through that and had to explain that?
Yeah. They listen.
All the shit, like the amount of things that we do for them is fucking crazy.
Language.
What do? They steal our fucking secrets. They assassinate our fucking president. They fucking lie to us and get us into fucking wars that we shouldn't be fighting. I mean, like, they do false flag attacks.
He's talking about Israel and is talking about the Jews. There's just so much to say with just about those 14 seconds here already.
We don't need to cut that.
All of it is a lie. All of it is completely false. All of it is entirely baseless. And if you ask guys like these for evidence, all they will do is just, oh, well, what else do you think happened? Explain this, explain that. Yeah. What about those guys that were filming the building after 9/11?
We have this evidence that there was a Jew in town when JFK got assassinated. You see? How could there be a Jew in town when JFK got assassinated? You see, this is the proof.
Kill fucking.
Swain
did you know there were even Jews in New York City during the 9/11 attacks?
WTF, is that on Myron's head? Do you mean his hair? What are you? That's his hair, man.
Talking about the waves. You put a skull cap on, and then he grows in waves. There's no great mystery here.
Yeah.
Citizens in hopes of blaming it on, guess who? The Muslim Brotherhood. You know, just like when fucking ISIS, they just fucking.
Yeah, because Muslim Brotherhood was totally innocent. You know, they never meant to ever, destabilize non-Islamic secular societies and replace them with Islam. You know, it's not like that's something that they actually promised and worked on. No, it's all the Jews, of course.
Fucking killed some people, and they're like, once again, fucking claiming it on behalf of Muslims. But why is ISIS only killing fucking Muslims?
And look at Myron. Great point. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Why is they only killing the Muslims? That don't make sense.
Well, at least he's saying F in every other word. That just makes it
more powerful.
That makes it powerful.
Guys, I'll give you the quick rundown. Up until the Ottoman Empire, Islam always had a caliphate. Ottoman Empire loses World War I. Ottoman Empire collapses after that. Muslims no heavy caliphate after that. Muslims look around and say, why are Western nations more powerful than us? There's a problem here. So they start trying to modernize. But then you have the other conclusion, which is maybe the reason these other nations are more powerful than us is that we are not devoutly defending and imposing Sharia. And so you had the Muslim Brotherhood, you had the Iranian Revolution, and so on. And still you're not conquering. And so what is it? You had a group of Muslims who looked back and said, when did we have this period of explosive growth? After Abu Bakr cleansed the Muslim community, launched the apostate wars, killed everyone, and cleansed the community of all rebellion, and enforced strict Sharia. That's when Allah blessed them to have this massive period of expansion. We need to go back to that model. What should we do? Should we go after America? No. Should we go after the Jews? No. Maybe some terrorist attacks here and there, but our main goal is to purify the Muslim community. Any Shias, we have to get rid of them. Anyone who is not fully on board and who does not fully submit to the caliphate as they're commanded by Muhammad, we have to execute them. And so we're just going to go on a killing spree until we have this pure Islamic community. Then Allah will bless us to take over the world. So what was their goal? I mean, the leader took the war name. The leader took the war name Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. He's like announcing it. I'm the Abu Bakr who's going to cleanse and purify the Muslim community so that then we can go on. And you still got these guys who don't understand that basic level of information that takes 2 minutes to understand. And they're, why are they going after the Shias? That don't make sense. Even though Muhammad said in Surah 9, verse 73, that he's been commanded to fight not only unbelievers, but also hypocrites. And it's a command to wage jihad on hypocrites. And they're going around. What are they doing? They're waging jihad on hypocrites because it's a command in the Quran. Oh, we can't understand. Why are they attacking Muslims? Why are they attacking Shias? Stupid idiots, man.
Absolute idiots. I did a poll here saying, should Dan Bilzerian convert to Islam? Because in my opinion, he totally should. He would be a perfect representation of Islam.
That could be another guy. Because I mean, like, we've got Hijab and Ali Dawa and Daniel Hakikachu and Sheikh Uthman. Like you've got these guys who are like destroying it from within. We thought Tate was going to be another, but not working out really well. Sneeko can be a mascot for a while and help those guys, but this guy could actually be something if he converted.
Yeah, and it would make perfect sense. I mean, check out his social media profiles. His social media for years has always just consisted of him, shirtless or with shirt, going around holding guns, and then having a bunch of prostitutes around him, nice. In bikinis, sitting on his laps and on his lap and on a yacht and things like that. It's a perfect representation, exactly like Jannah, exactly like heaven in Islam. This is what every Muslim wants to. That's what every Muslim aspires to become. So this could be a perfect fit. I think after Andrew Tate, you know me, I have always been for Andrew Tate conversion to Islam. Before he converted, I said, I hope he becomes a Muslim. He did, because he listened to me. Good boy. And I hope that Dan Bilzerian also becomes a Muslim, so that we have perfect representatives of Islam. These guys are scumbags, and that's how it is. But hey, to the topic that he just said and that David just explained. So ISIS apparently only kills Muslims. You're right. First off, that's extremely stupid.
Yeah.
For a decade now, ISIS has been very active. And excuse me, which one was the terrorist organization that was almost always behind all the mass killings in Europe over the last decade? Wasn't it ISIS? Mm-hmm. Yes, it was. It was ISIS. They have been going around committing suicide bombs, stabbing attacks, mass shootings, driving trucks into crowds. They have their own magazine, and they had their own magazine in which they explicitly instructed their followers to carry out attacks in such a manner. They had instructions on how to, drive a truck into a crowd, what crowds to look for, and so on. How to make bombs, how to best carry out a knife attack, and stuff like that. It was ISIS themselves that would encourage and then claim or directly carry out these attacks. Of course, they kill a lot of Muslims as well, because their primary goal is to establish the caliphate in Muslim lands. And the Muslims that are being killed as a result of their fighting are simply to them considered enemies who stand between them and the ultimate goal of establishing the caliphate or re-establishing the caliphate, which they think is their greatest duty, the greatest duty given to them by Allah. That is why most of their victims are Muslims. I recently read in a report as well that the majority of terrorism-related deaths in the world are Muslims. However, the majority of terrorist organizations that are responsible for the highest number of terrorist-related deaths are also Muslims. It is a vastly Muslim versus Muslim thing. That does not mean that these guys are some Jewish conspiracy or an Israeli conspiracy. On the contrary, ISIS has been very, very clear on the fact that they also eventually want to work toward the annihilation of Jews. That is something that they have in common with all the other Islamist organizations. And they recently instructed their followers again to kill people in retaliation for the suffering of the Palestinian people and so on. So all of this is just complete nonsense. Yep.
When the fuck is the last time ISIS ever attacked Israel?
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking bullshit. Yeah. You know, it's like false flag attack after false flag attack over and over and over again. And these Americans, I think, are finally...
This sounds like I'm listening to the dumbest person out there talking. Why does this guy even have a...
Talking to the other dumbest person out there. And then agreeing with each other. Great point there.
Look, the only reason that this guy is sitting here and talking is that he was born into a rich family. He has a rich daddy.
Must be nice.
And for the longest time, all he did was just use daddy's money to spend it on the most degenerate stuff in the world, and to also engage in gambling, where he lost most of his money and also got in trouble for violence, and is, I think, currently facing prison charges or something. So this is why this guy is popular. And I mentioned this before. Why in the world does this guy get a platform? Why in the world do you not instead invite other people then? If we are just going to invite people who are known without actually contributing anything intellectually, why in the world are we inviting these guys? How about we also start inviting Kim Kardashian, who is the better Armenian out of these two? Yeah, I know you're going to say why Kim Kardashian, but yeah, if we are just inviting people who are known for totally unrelated things, how about we just start inviting all the celebrities, singers, models, adult actors, and so on? Apparently this is what we do. And then we trust them. We actually listen to them. What a stupid society.
It is. And that used to be the situation with like movie stars. Like, oh, we've got this person on our show, and this person pretends to be other people for a living and has mastered the art of pretending to be other people. Tell us, what's the meaning of life? And they'll ask them like philosophical and religious questions, like they would have any greater understanding than any random person that you would ever meet. Of course, goes back. Plato was talking about this in the Apology, that Socrates was saying that he was searching for wise people, and he said every time you find someone that has some kind of knowledge, they also think that they're experts in other areas. And now it's even a worse situation where anyone who has any sort of following anywhere is treated like an expert on any stupid thing they're saying. I mean, if this guy doesn't understand why there are Muslims who kill other Muslims and if he actually thinks when a Muslim kills another Muslim, as has been going on for 14 centuries, if he thinks, oh, that Muslim just killed that Muslim, therefore that Muslim who killed the other Muslim is actually a Jew, is actually a secret Jew, he's insane. I mean, guys, we've been through this a million times, but Aisha, the mother of the faithful, Muhammad's wife, when she grew up, she marched an army against Ali. So Aisha is the mother of the faithful. She marched an army against a guy that Muhammad called the commander of the faithful. The mother of the faithful in Islam marched an army against the commander of the faithful, and about 10,000 Muslims died in bloody combat, slaughtering each other. That's the first generation of Muslims. Muhammad was asked, what's the best generation of Muslims? He said, the first generation of Muslims. So the first generation of Muslims almost annihilated themselves, killing each other. And here we are 14 centuries later. But if a Muslim kill another Muslim, that means him a Jew. And you sound, and then, oh, well, great point. I'm Myron Durf. I'm fresh.
Yeah.
Or is
yeah,
he
everyone,
fit? I don't know which one's which.
Everyone who agrees should type a 1 in the chat. So, yeah, that's what we do now.
Are you doing that now? It's like the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, I stole it from Sam Shimu.
1 means yes, right?
I think so, yeah.
So would you believe in the democratic vote, though? So would people be allowed to vote in women politicians?
Hey, who says the Taliban didn't have a sense of humor, huh? So these guys don't have a sense of humor. Now you know what makes them laugh. You can imagine like a Taliban comedy club. Be like, hey, let's vote some women in. Greatest comedy show of all time.
So the latest reports of the Taliban are that they ban women from basically speaking outside.
You have to use whiteboards like Ali Dawa's wife.
Yes, they can finally go for the whiteboard. Ali Dawa did the perfect precedent for this. He instructed or he showed how to actually make your wife communicate. Don't be a degenerate making your wife talk with her voice. Women should not be talking. They should not be talking. They should not be making sounds, because sounds coming from women might cause big trouble. Let's look at this again.
I have my wife on my right. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you want, inshallah.
Wait a minute. Did she just...
Hope you want, inshallah.
I think she very quietly responded.
She made a little noise there.
This is unacceptable, man. Delete this.
And Ali Dawa, you just gave all your followers a boner. That's what you're worried about, right? Oh no, if they hear her voice, then they's all gonna get aroused. Yeah. Well, we just heard her like mumble a little something. And so your followers who've never developed any concept of self-control, and you definitely don't want to encourage one, they just lost their minds. So now they're all lusting after your wife's little grunt or whatever that was.
Now I understand why some Muslims are criticizing Ali Dawa for what he's doing. This is the Dawa version of porn.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
She made a sound, man. This is insane.
This is insane. Naughty.
His followers are going to go crazy. His followers are probably going crazy. This is how they should be reacting. His followers are probably crazy about this right now. They can't forget this. This is stuck in their head. She made a sound. Are you insane, man?
Hope you want, inshallah. She's not going to be in the video, but she's going to have her say with this whiteboard that I bought her. But why?
She's not going to be in the video. Women can't just be in the video, right? My wife is not just in the video. She'll have this whiteboard here.
Is the default that the woman is innocent and the man is always guilty? Okay, that's something my wife wants to say. Salama probably had enough, as women give a lot of chances, has zero tolerance now. Okay, this is why I want you here. Yeah, it's very important for you to be here. Yes, just to take the past traumas of their father or ex-husband, etc., and project it on other people. So, okay, she's saying she made the video, not him. I don't know his opinion. Well, exactly. There you go. Okay, there's nothing else I have to say. Anything you'd like to say? If you do, just let me know, inshallah. The Prophet, peace be upon him, told us he went to the hellfire. Again, I know you guys are going to be like, it's a reality.
He went to the hellfire.
Okay.
He went to the hellfire.
And he saw the majority of the women of the hellfire. Why? He said, not because they are ungrateful to Allah, because they are ungrateful to their husbands.
You hear that?
Oh,
You hear that?
that was powerful. That's a warning, ladies.
Anything that
Yeah, it's a warning.
That's why-
Women behave.
Yes.
Behave.
I said wrong is from Shaitan and myself. Anything good is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If there's anything you disagree on, no. Okay. Are you under any duress? You can blink twice. No. Okay, that's
I mean, have some self-awareness, man. This just sounds like why would you say something as dumb like that in this video? It just makes it even if it was a regular lighthearted moment, saying that within this context here just sounds really, really messed up and really bad. It's like you're mocking the woman for being unable to be on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Dawa is powerful, man. Dawa is powerful.
yeah. This wait, who said that? She sounds smarter than him. I know you're joking, but the thing is, maybe she's actually smarter than him, and she sounds smart, which is why she's not allowed to speak, so that Ali Dawa doesn't feel humiliated, which is a big problem because any person standing there would probably sound smarter than him. I haven't seen Ali Dawa ever together with somebody else, and he was the smarter one.
Hey, that's in Proverbs, by the way. It says, even a fool, if he remains silent, seems wise. And so even if you're clueless and dumb, as long as you keep your mouth shut, you sound like you're all right. And so the idea is anyone who actually kept her mouth shut beside Ali Dawa would seem massively intelligent by comparison because he sounds so stupid.
That's fine. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh for myself and my dear wife. May Allah bless you for your contributions. It's a pleasure and a honor.
Now go do your homework. Go do your homework because you've got school up until 6th grade when we cut you off, yeah?
This is funny because you already posted this in response to this here. Apparently, the Taliban has banned Afghan women from showing their faces or speaking out loud in public under strict new laws.
Afghan women are now banned from showing their faces or speaking out loud in public, and they can't even look at a man they're not related to. It's part of a new law passed by the Taliban, the hardline Islamic group that has ruled Afghanistan since Western forces left in 2021. The rules say a woman must cover her body and face in public to avoid tempting others. They also ban women from singing or reading aloud in public. And
women aren't going to be able to read.
Um,
You might have some women who know how to read now, but I mean, 10 years from now, no one's going to know. The ladies aren't going to know how to read. Come on.
Why is this woman here naked talking about this stuff?
Yeah, look at her. Look at her. Look at my zaboobas. Look at
She's
my zaboobas.
deliberately trying to show her zaboobas in this conversation. This is just
deliberately provoking the Taliban.
and make it illegal for anyone to play music. The Taliban government says the law will help promote virtue and eliminate vice. Girls have
eliminate vice. So, it's just so insane. I don't even know where to start, man. Eliminate vice.
I have to. I just want everyone to be aware of the fact everyone go look at pictures of Afghanistan and women in Afghanistan like the 1960s. Look like a Western nation, same as Iran back then. And then you have the mullahs take over, and guess what? It doesn't matter if they're Sunni or Shia, but they go hardcore. And then all of a sudden, just a few decades later, everything has changed. People have no concept. People have no concept of what life was like before. And so anyway, the point there is if you sit there and think, hey, these guys who are spreading their ideas, it'll never work. It can never take over. We've seen it happen repeatedly. Where places that weren't Sharia compliant all of a sudden very quickly become massively Sharia compliant.
That's what they do. That is literally what they do. Yeah, women were walking around like in a regular Western society, um, not as much, but pretty close before all the chaos ensued.
Have also been banned from secondary schools since 2021, just 1 month after the Taliban took control. The Taliban said a few months later that it would lift the ban once it had secured principles of Islamic law and Afghan culture. But nearly 3 years on, girls still aren't back in the classroom.
You know what's funny? It's not. I know it's not funny, but when the Taliban took over years ago, everybody already knew where this is going to go, right? And lots of people pointed out, and lots of people did say that the Taliban is just going to go back and impose all of their horrible laws, their mistreatment of others, mistreatment of women, mistreatment of humans, of minorities, and so on. They said initially, "Oh no, we're not. We're going to be very considerate. We are going to impose temporary measures, but most of what people are saying is simply propaganda, instigated and incited by the United States and Israel." And here we are. Here we are. Taliban is doing exactly what people thought, or what people knew Taliban would be doing. They are oppressing women first, and all the others, of course, as well. Daily crackdowns, arrests, executions, tight surveillance of dissenters, completely shutting women out of society, of even getting a proper education, which some people find very funny, like the Islamist Stanley Kikachu. He laughed about it, and so on. This is what they're doing, and some people are acting like, "Oh, this is a big surprise. So why is this happening? Why is this happening?" It's not a big surprise. It is Islam. It is Islam. This is what Islam is. This is what Islam does. And here we have a genius, Humza Yousaf, who was recently the First Minister of Scotland until he resigned. He did resign, right? He's no longer the. Is that true?
I'm not sure exactly what happened, but yeah, he's no longer that.
Who served as First Minister and resigned. Okay, yes. So he said the following. In response to The Guardian's article, "Frightening Taliban Law Bans Women from Speaking in Public," he said, "The erasure of women goes against everything Islam stands for. I stand in solidarity with the women of Afghanistan."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What'd you do, buddy? But apart from this tweet, what did you do? AP.
Yes.
Will it's the same thing after terrorist attacks. You'll get these, "Oh, we condemn the terrorist attack," but it doesn't seem to energize the community against whatever they're responding to. In other words, we see massive. They're somehow able. The Ummah is somehow able to mobilize millions of protesters around the world globally. But when there's a terrorist attack, not a peep. When women are being horribly oppressed, when little girls are being told they can't go to school anymore, "Oh yeah, we'll send out a tweet saying we don't approve," but that's it. Suddenly, if something involves Jews, then it's marching through the streets and burning stuff to the ground.
Yeah.
You can tell a lot about people by what sends them into a rage and what doesn't.
That is very, very much true. Now let us look at a few Islamic sources here. First off, I want to have a look actually at the Quran verse. Quran chapter 4, verse 34. One of my favorite Quran verses ever, because it has such a loving, such a wonderful, such a fantastic, such a beautiful, such an amazing message. All right, here. Men are in charge of women by right of what Allah has given one over the other, and what they spend from their wealth. So righteous women are devoutly obedient, guarding in absence what Allah would have them guard. But those wives from whom you fear arrogance, first advise them. Then, if they persist, forsake them in bed. And finally, strike them. It doesn't say lightly here. This is simply added for commentary. It is not even part of any proper ruling. It simply says, and strike them. But if they obey you, seek no means against them. Indeed, Allah is ever exalted and grand. So husbands are supposed to discipline their wives and force them into submission and complete obedience. And if the women do not obey properly, then they're supposed to warn them, or separate them in bed. And finally, if it doesn't work, beat them until they are obedient once again. That's where they then are supposed to stop. It's not just it doesn't say you are allowed to. It is directly a command to do this. So Allah commands Muslims to beat their wives if they become disobedient.
And the especially creepy part there, apart from, beating your wives into submission, it's, but those wives from whom you fear arrogance. And you'll get different translations, from whom you fear rebellion or anything else, disobedience. It doesn't say if your wife does this. It says if you fear something. And notice, if you were going to punish your wife for something that she actually does, then you could verify whether she has committed some reprehensible atrocity in the marriage, and then you're going to beat her. But it would be something that can be publicly investigated. Did she do what you are beating her for? If the criterion is you simply fear that your wife is going to do something, who can ever tell you you're wrong? And this is why we find in the hadith, Muhammad saying a man will not be asked as to why he beat his wife. You don't ask. You do not ask him. Why? Because if he's beating his wife, he obviously feared some misbehavior on her part. Doesn't matter what she's doing. Doesn't matter if she actually did any of this. It's he feared arrogance or disobedience or something like that. And that's enough to beat the crap out of her. And we do have the sources on women being beaten until their skin turned green. Who does Muhammad condemn? The woman.
The Prophet said, no man shall be asked for the reason of beating his wife. This is not something that we're making up. This is directly in Riyadh al-Salihin, which is an extremely reliable source, which includes authenticated hadith, primarily from Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, the two most important sources, but also from others. No man shall be asked for the reason for beating his wife. This is what Muhammad said. Further, speaking of erasing women, let's talk about the hijab. Here's the narration. Narrated by Aisha, the wives of the Prophet used to go to Al-Manasi, a vast open place, to answer the call of nature at night. So when they need to go pee, they would go to this open place. That's it. Omar used to say to the Prophet, let your wives be veiled. But Allah's apostle did not do so. One night, Sauda bint Zama, the wife of the Prophet, went out at Isha time, and she was a tall lady. Umar addressed her and said, I have recognized you, O
I saw your butt.
I see you.
I saw your butt while you were peeing.
He said so as he desired eagerly that the verses of hijab, the observing of veils by the Muslim women, may be revealed. So Allah revealed the verses of hijab. So Omar repeatedly sees Muhammad's wives when they go to pee and poo, and he's like, I can't take this anymore. I can clearly see them. I can clearly see that these are the Prophet's wives. I can see them going to the bathroom. I need to tell him something about this. So he tells him, hey, cover up your women. Cover up your women. Otherwise, we sit there and we see your women go to the bathroom and we get indecent thoughts. So Allah, of course, compelled by this, the Almighty God, the Almighty god of Islam, compelled by this, thinks, oh, okay, all right, okay, let me send down a few revelations. And then he sends down the instruction to cover the women up. So after this, whenever the women go to the bathroom, they are now fully covered and no longer have to entice these men who are sitting there looking around, and no longer poison their minds with their appearance. This is part of Islam. So when Hamza Yusuf here says the erasure of women goes against everything Islam stands for, he's talking complete nonsense. And plus, he's, again, as David pointed out, not doing anything at all. He's simply talking and contradicting Islam. Furthermore, it says, I said, O Allah's messenger, good and bad persons enter upon you, so I suggest that you order the mothers of the believers to observe veils. Then Allah revealed the verses of the hijab. So another account saying basically that that the women of Muhammad initially were ordered to cover themselves up in order so that men do not look at them anymore, so that men cannot see them anymore. So instead of telling the men to to not look at them, to control themselves, to practice discipline, whatever it is, Islam's solution is just, hey, how about we just put the women away? How about we just put a cover on them? Then we don't have to train the men anymore, right? This is basically Islam's solution to everything. Islam is directly part of this erasure of women. Right, David? Do you agree?
Are you going to bring up the hadith about skin being turned green?
No.
Dirtbag. See, trying to cover up the truth. Trying to cover up the truth. Hey, this is wild stuff, man.
What is wild stuff?
That you can literally sit here and say, "Hey, guys, here is the speed at which the Muslim population is growing by birth rates. Historically, we know that Islam becomes more aggressive and antagonistic as the percentage of Muslims in a population increases. You can sit here and explain all of that, and every step of the way, you'll be called a liar.
Okay.
And then exactly what you said would happen can happen, and somehow people still won't believe you.
Beast. That's good. That's a good thing. People shouldn't believe Islamophobes. Here is the hadith that David just wants me so badly to bring up because
there's so many good quotes in it.
David just loves talking about women getting beaten. I don't know what your obsession with that is.
It's just one, the whole scenario, but two, what Aisha says. Because keep in mind, Aisha learned Islam in 7th century Arabia.
Yeah.
This is the ultimate time to learn what Islam has to do with women.
From the river to the sea.
Umar will watch you pee.
Do you want to read your favorite hadith here?
Yeah. Hey, can you imagine though? Like if someone like if someone came up to me, some neighbor came up to me and said, "Hey, I was looking through your bathroom window. I saw your wife peeing. You should tell her to cover." I'll be like, someone's getting knocked out. But like Umar's like, "Hey, Muhammad, I was sitting outside in the middle of the night looking over at where your wives go to the bathroom, and I saw them." Like, how are you now? Like, quit looking over where my wives go to the bathroom, you sick freak. Anyway.
No, Muhammad was like, "Okay, I'll tell him to cover up, man. Okay.
Hey, yeah.
Okay, man. Okay, fine." That's what Muhammad was. It doesn't sound like a very big alpha male.
Yeah. All right, so here you got Sahih al-Bukhari 5825. Rifa divorced his wife, whereupon Abdurrahman bin Az-Zubair al-Qurazi married her. So one guy divorces a woman, she marries another guy. Then she finds out she wants to go back to the original, and therefore she starts talking trash about her husband because she wants a divorce so she can go back to her other husband. Aisha said that the lady came wearing a green veil and complained to her of her husband and showed her a green spot on her skin caused by beating. So he's beating her because she's talking trash about him. And it was the habit of ladies to support each other. Really? Why wouldn't they be supported by the power of Muhammad's teachings? These ladies have to go around trying to defend each other against their husbands who are beating the crap out of them. It was the habit of ladies to support each other. So think about this. Your husband's beating you until your skin turns green. But you know Aisha, and Aisha can go to Muhammad and get you an audience with Muhammad so that you can have justice, and he'll tell your husband, stop beating you. It was the habit of the ladies to support each other. So when Allah's messenger came, Aisha, who's going to get justice, said, I have not seen any woman suffering as much as the believing women. Look, her skin is greener than her clothes. So the lady had a green dress on, and her skin was greener than her green dress. But look at that quotation from Aisha. I have not seen any woman suffering as much as the believing women. This is Aisha learning Islam from its source. And she says what? She doesn't say, hey guys, these are just different times. These are just different times that we live in. And women have a rougher time during our period. And that's the only reason that women are oppressed now. She specifically says Muslim women have it worse than women in any other group, worse than any Jewish women, Christian women, pagan women. Muslim women have it the worst. They're treated the worst. So that's the original. You can't say this was some later thing that some evil person did. This comes from Muhammad and his companions. That's the Islam that they're familiar with. They are familiar with an Islam taught by Muhammad and his companions, where women get beaten until their skin turned green, and Muslim women are treated worse than any other group of women in the world. So anyway, long story short here, this guy saying, oh, this erasure of women and so on, he's looking at what's going on in Afghanistan. Oh, wow, look at how women are being treated there. That has nothing to do with Islam. What are you talking about? Aisha herself. I'm going to assume that she had a better grasp of what Islam teaches than some modern politician in Scotland or whatever. But what does she say? She's saying, no, this is what Islam does to women. It's believing women, Muslim women, who have it worse than any other women in the world. And we look around, it's still that way today. And somehow if we point it out, we're bad. That's why we let Aisha point it out for us.
That's why we are losers. Losers. That is basically what it is. I also want to quickly address one of my favorite hadiths here. Of course, the Taliban will want to erase women, because here's how Muhammad thought. Jabir reported that Allah's messenger saw a woman. Mm-hmm. And so he came to his wife Zainab as she was tanning a leather, and had sexual intercourse with her. He then went to his companions and told them.
Anyone who's been around like fresh leather goods and so on, that is a disgusting, disgusting smell. And that's what she's doing. And he's like, come on, I need to bang you because I just saw some hot chick walking down the street. I saw his booba, so I need to bang before I go crazy and rape her.
And his wife Zainab, who was, by the way, one of few wives at that time, is probably like, please, I'm working on this. I'm working.
I smell like death.
I'm so sweaty. I stink. It's like, I don't care. I need to do this right now.
Naked, come over here. I have to bang you.
The woman. Anyway, he then went to his companions after he finished the sexual act and said, the woman advances and retires in the shape of a devil. So when one of you sees a woman, he should come to his wife, for that will repel what he feels in his heart. There is just much to analyze here, right? Mm-hmm. So first off, he's walking outside and simply seeing a woman.
Yeah.
Just some woman minding her own business. She's just walking outsad.
She's walking down the street. Gotta do the grocery shopping. He's like, a woman. Oh, I see an outline of her bosom and another outline of her bottom.
she's out there going to Walmart, and he's walking past her and thinking, "Oh, woman, I want to have sex with her. What am I gonna do?" And
She's
he
like,
runs
"What's that in your
home.
pot? What's that in your pocket, Prophet?" It's
But
nothing in my
imagine,
pocket. What do you mean it's nothing in my pocket? That's my boner. I'm gonna go use it. My wife. It smells like death.
but but imagine, this is supposed to be the perfect moral character, the perfect example for all humankind, the greatest human to ever walk the face of the earth, right? This guy is supposed to have the ultimate sense of morality, the ultimate self-control, ultimate self-discipline, and all of these things. And what happens to him is basically that he walks outside and he sees a woman, and it becomes uncontrollable. So he has to go home to his wife, who is just in the middle of very nasty work, pull her and have sex with her. I mean, look, lots of people who are watching this right now are men as well. Do you ever do you walk outside and just whenever you see a woman find yourself in a situation where you think, oh no, I have to take care of this right now because I want to have sex with that woman? Do you really feel like that? Because this sounds like, if you feel so desperate that a woman simply is walking by and you feel the urge to have sex with her, and you have to go and have sex with one of your wives instead, it sounds like you have a problem there. It really sounds like you have a serious problem.
It does, because Muslims look at this and they see it as, look at his great self-control. Instead of pouncing on the woman, he ran home to one of his wives. Of course you should do that. Of course you should do that. And I would say, yes, if you have an uncontrollable sexual urge, yes, run back to your wife. But that's the point, right? Like, he has less self-control than any one of us. Like any guy who's watching this right now, unless you're a devout Muhammad fan, any one of us can walk down the street. We don't, I saw a woman. I'm about to explode here. I'm about to explode with desire, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is, let's be real here. So he goes to Zainab. Who's tanning leather. Again, she would have smelled terrible. Everything around her would have smelled terrible. It would have been disgusting. And he still pounced on her. What does that mean? Let's do some inference here. That means he probably couldn't find any of his other wives, right? Probably went for Aisha. Where's Aisha? Oh no, she's out in the woods with some guy. Went around to his other, couldn't find any of his wives. He knocks on all his wives' doors. Oh, no one's home. Oh, all that's left is Zainab. Smelling like death. It's he found her. But it's good, because if she was last on the list, then what's next? Goat. Just remember, if you see a woman and you can't find one of your wives, run to a goat.
I guess it's one thing to appreciate that this is actually talking about him going to one of his wives at that time. If it did conclude that he went to a goat out of necessity to relieve what was in his heart, this would be a very, 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 very bad disaster. Because right now, if that was true, right now in today's time, we would be having debates with Muslims about
Daniel
why it's not
Hikikachu. And
here
are 17 scientific studies which demonstrate the great features of sex with goats. And that's what we would have. That's what we'd be dealing with right now. So it's so weird to say it. Muhammad, thank you for not banging a goat in that situation, because we'd be dealing with more than your followers defending child marriage and wife beating right now.
And it's not even, it is a joke, but it's not even completely a joke, because honestly, if that did occur in the hadiths,
he would be defending it right now.
You would have Muslims
100%
defending it. You would have Muslims explaining why out of necessity this is okay to do. It's just so messed up. This is what we're dealing with. Anyway, furthermore, Furthermore, he after going and having sex with Zainab, he goes out to his companions and is relieved and it feels like, oh God, I got the devil out.
Here's what just happened.
And he says, the woman advances and retires in the shape of a devil.
That's, by the way, that's
one of you sees a woman, he should come to his wife, for that will repel what he feels in his heart. So what he did feel in his heart there was he saw a woman.
Lost.
He doesn't even say a provocative, skimpy dressed woman, whatever.
Woman.
Just when you see a woman, you should come to your wife because that will repel what you feel in your heart. Apparently, this is the situation with Muhammad all the time. And this is why Muhammad imposed all kinds of restrictions on women. This is why Taliban is doing what they're doing. It is Islam.
And you already pointed out the other important feature here, that all the stuff he's doing, he's always running out talking to his followers, right? Like when he would have sex with 9 wives in a single night, and his followers report this. How do they know about it? How do they know that when Muhammad was going house to house, that he's going around having sex with all of his wives? How does he know he's not going in there drinking a cup of tea and leaving? Because he was bragging about it. Oh, just had sex with 9, and they're bragging about it. Our prophet has the sexual strength of 30 men. He's so strong. So this is the supreme moral example in Islam. A guy who's going around, has no self-control, running around. He has to run home, and it doesn't matter what his wife's doing. He just has to pounce on her, and always brags about his sexual exploits to his followers. And this is the supreme moral example. And then people wonder why Muslims lose their minds over Andrew Tate.
This man has real problems.
Hey, you know what's funny about this sound here?
This man has real problems.
He was actually talking about me when he said that.
Oh, you have not hijab.
But the thing is, the context was actually he was saying this man has real problems with Islam and Muslims.
Oh.
But I thought it sounded kind of funny, so I cut it that way.
You don't need to explain yourself. You were right.
Problems.
You're 100% correct.
Oh man. So anyway, that is what we are. Oh no! Now here's this woman again, arousing all the Taliban.
Where's my wife? I need to find her. A picture of this woman.
Man. So anyway, where's the article? Where did I put it? Where did I put the article? Is it the WAPO?
Welcome to AP's channel, where every day is amateur hour.
WAPO. When the Taliban took power in Afghanistan after the August 2021 U.S. withdrawal, the radical Islamist group prohibited education for all girls beyond 6th grade. The Taliban said it was just a temporary measure, but then the regime followed up with a procession of decrees and rules that robbed women of their rights to education, healthcare, a livelihood, and liberty.
What rights? What are you talking about?
The school was never reopened. It turns out
no, seriously. What do you mean? What do you mean rights to education? What rights? What rights in Islam? Healthcare, livelihood, liberty. What are you talking about? You have the right to be fed in your marriage. That's your right as a woman.
Yes. That's it. That's all you get. That's what we get. Many of the repressive measures have now been codified into a 114-page law on the promotion of virtue and prevention of vice. Taliban leaders revealed the new law with penalties last week in the first formal declaration of vice and virtue laws in Afghanistan since the takeover. The Associated Press viewed the text and published the details. The new law underscores that the Taliban wants to create a society of gender apartheid. In which the government silences women's voices, robs them of their rights, and makes them totally dependent on men. Afghanistan is experiencing the worst crisis of women's rights in the world today. Yeah, but we don't have to talk about this. Just talk about Gaza instead. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what they do. That's what they do. After the chaotic US departure from Kabul, some diplomats speculated that the Taliban will be forced to give up the harsh rule it imposed between 1996 and 2001 because it would need international recognition to avert a severe humanitarian crisis. This is just so ridiculous. The Taliban is pretty much today what they were back then, aside from the major aggression toward outside and the fighting, but however they still keep the same strictness, the totalitarianism, the authoritarianism on the inside. Why did some people, even experts here, right, predict that they would be different in order to appease the international community? It's not like anyone is actually doing anything. It's not like the international community, it's not like people around the world actually care about what Islamists do in their countries. It's not like people around the world actually care about what Islamists do in Europe, let alone what they do in the Islamic countries. Of course, the Taliban will do whatever they want, whatever the hell they want. They can mistreat women, they can mistreat minorities, they can mistreat everyone. That's what they are doing. That's what they can do.
Urinating upon one another. That's what they do.
Nobody's going to speak up. Nobody's going to say anything. Of course, they would say if Jews were involved somehow.
Mm-hmm. Then it'd be a huge issue.
Yeah. A Taliban spokesman announced at a news conference in August 2021 that it would not have enemies, internal or external, but these soothing promises turned out to be nonsense. Oh, what a surprise. What a shocker. Who could have predicted that? The Taliban of today is every bit as dehumanizing as the old.
Shocker.
According to the AP account of the new law, it mandates that women veil their bodies at all times in public and dictates that a face covering is essential to avoid temptations. What did we just read of Muhammad? This is how Muhammad felt about women. Whenever Muhammad saw a woman, he thought, I need to have sex. I need to have sex right now because women are the devil. So this is how Muhammad thought. This is what Muhammad felt and what Muhammad thought. This is how Muhammad made his laws. And the Taliban is directly basing their attitude about women on Muhammad, on how Muhammad felt, on Muhammad's despair, on Muhammad's boner, on Muhammad's desire to just have sex with anything that crosses his side. This is basically what the Taliban is doing. This is the wickedness and the sickness of Islam. There is no need to sugarcoat it and whitewash it and downplay it. This is what Islam does.
It is cool that they keep citing you as a source, though.
I know.
That is awesome. They should always do that.
I mean, I have accrued a little bit of credibility and respect and all that, but to see that the Washington Post is directly citing me as source here is kind of
it's like people always cite me when they're talking about the Daily Wire, but it's cool. Yeah. It's cooler to cite you. So anyway, a couple of takeaways that are like kind of apart from Islam's impact on women. One takeaway I've already mentioned, namely, this can happen really, really rapidly in a period of a few decades. Everything can change. Again, go back a few decades. Afghanistan was completely different. And now you have this going on in the entire country, this being imposed in the entire country. The other important takeaway that's not really connected to the issue of Islam's impact on women, but I mean, you had the United States, the most powerful nation in the history of humanity, go after these guys in Afghanistan. They basically ran in hidden caves and launched guerrilla attacks and so on. But the U.S. did not hunt them down and wipe them out. Why? Because that would be mean. You'd have to be extremely harsh. What happens? These guys will outweight you. They'll wait for you to get sick of coming after them. They'll wait for you to get sick of the terrorist attacks against your people. They'll wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. They'll be patient. It doesn't matter if it takes 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Then they'll come back and crush you and take over again. All right. And you'll run because you don't want to have an endless war. My point here is that's now the model for how to do things in Western nations. That's now the model. The model for how you deal with a terrorist group is you go win some temporary engagement with them, let them keep on as long as you've weakened them a bit, and just wait, but don't be too harsh. You don't want to actually hunt them down and destroy them. Let them continue until they make a comeback, and you let them because you're sick of fighting. That's the model in Western nations. If you want to deal with a terrorist group, it's either endless war forever, because you never actually go in and finish it. You just let it, you kind of, deal with them with kitty gloves a little bit. You allow them to continue forever, or you let them win. Those are your options. Under no circumstances do you just do the difficult work of going in and crushing them and leaving them crushed. That's the Western model. There's one group, the Israelis, that say, no, we're actually gonna hunt them down and destroy them, like, permanently.
That's what they do.
And they're the evil ones. They're the evil ones for just saying, no, we understand what we're dealing with. One, we don't want an endless war with Hamas. And two, we don't want to let Hamas go hide for a while and then come back another day and then take over again. Don't want it. So we're going to crush them. And somehow the ones with the only ones with the basic common sense of saying, we don't want an endless war and we don't want these guys coming back and terrorizing us more. Therefore, we have to make a difficult decision on this and crush them. They're the bad guys in all this. It's a weird situation.
Very, very, very weird situation. It's really insane, the kind of stuff that people are doing, man. Socialists, I'm just seeing right now, protesting outside Temple University. I think that was yesterday, and carrying PFLP flags. So PFLP is a Palestinian terrorist organization that is a communist organization, and they also participated on October 7 in the massacres. They are, in their practices, not too different from Hamas. So here you have people in the U.S. in what is it, Philadelphia, Temple University. There is a PFLP flag. That is the communist terrorist organization that killed many civilians, carried out big terrorist attacks, including hijacking planes, blowing things up, blowing themselves up, and so on. This is what people do. How do you expect any consistency from people who normalize dumb stuff like this? It's just so insane. Anyway, I want to quickly read this part here to summarize what they're saying, and then I want to go over to the AP article. I said AP. According to the AP account of the new law, it mandates that women veil their bodies at all times in public and dictates that a face covering is essential to avoid temptations. Clothing should not be thin, tight, or short. Women should veil themselves in front of all male strangers, including Muslims, and in front of all non-Muslims,
especially Muslims,
being corrupted. A woman's voice is deemed intimate and so should not be heard singing, reciting, or reading in public. It is forbidden. By the way, it is even forbidden for a woman to recite the Quran. So that other men can hear it. So it might sound funny to people, but a woman is not supposed to loudly recite the Quran. You know, Muslims recite, Alhamdulillah. A woman is not supposed to do that if any man can hear her. It even involves that. Imagine, because if somebody hears a woman recite the Quran, what if they get sexual thoughts? You know? Therefore, ban women from reciting.
Hey, I mean, this is women are in kind of a bad spot here because they're not allowed to talk. Their voice is too tempting, and so you'd think, oh, okay, well, the government can just issue them plenty of whiteboards, like Ali Dawa's wife, but they're not letting them go to school anymore. So how's anyone even going to know how to write what they're saying? Are these women going to draw pictures in the future? Will you, like, they have to draw little pictures on their whiteboard to illustrate what they're trying to convey? Thanks,
Yeah.
Islam. You're doing a great job.
Well, that means that whiteboards are going to sell bigly, so might be a business to get into. It is forbidden for women to look at men they are not related to by blood or marriage, and vice versa. The law bans the playing of music, the transportation of solo female travelers, and the mixing of men and women who are not related. The law also obliges passengers and drivers to perform prayers at designated times. Further, the law bans the publication of images of living beings. The AP reported threatening an already fragile Afghan media
The
landscape.
apostate prophet reported.
Yeah. And I want to quickly have a look at this thing that they keep citing. Wait, this is not. Oh, yeah, it is. This is it. Okay. So, apostate prophet news laid out some of the things here. Inshallah, we assure you that this Islamic law will be of great help in the promotion of virtue and the elimination of vice, said ministry spokesman Maulvi Abdul Ghaffar Farouk on Thursday. I really want to look at the whole thing, but here, Article 13 relates to women. It says that it is mandatory for a woman to veil her body at all times in public, and that a face covering is essential to avoid temptation and tempting others. Clothing should not be thin, tight, or short. Article 17 bans the publication of images of living beings. Yes.
Oh, hang on. We're trying to do the math here. Women can't speak because their voice is too tempting. So we say, okay, they can write what they want on a whiteboard, on a whiteboard. But no, they're not allowed to go to school. So how are they gonna know enough to actually be able to convey their thoughts in writing? So I suggested they can draw pictures. They can't even draw pictures if it's anything, involving a living being. What is this?
And this goes back to, as some people know, to Islamic rulings. Here is Muhammad. I heard the messenger of Allah. Wait a minute. Saying every painter will go to hell, and for every portrait he has made, there will be appointed one who will chastise him in hell. Ibn Abbas said, if you have to do it, draw pictures of trees and other inanimate things. So, yeah, this is what
trees
happens.
are living things. So apparently they're allowing trees to be worshipped.
Yeah. Or maybe you can draw a living being and make it look like a tree to get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, here Muhammad is saying that it is forbidden that people who draw living beings, who make portraits, will go to hell and be asked for it and punished for that. This is it.
Hey, this would actually be funny if this were like if there's the Afghanistan version of Law and Order, and it'll be like, my wife was out in public, she couldn't speak, and she never learned to write because she's not allowed to go to school, so she drew a picture, and she was charged with drawing a person, and like the audience, stone her. But her lawyer, like the Afghani Johnny Cochran, he's like, no, as you can see, she was just trying to draw a tree. And as we see here, you can draw a tree. It just happened to be a tree that looks a little bit like a person. And it can be like this awesome legal defense.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. The
We should do
Afghani
that.
Law and Order. Yeah. Oh, you're saying
we
we should
should
make
do
it. Yeah, we
we
could do
should
that.
do
We could do that. We could have the legal trial.
So in Islamic society, drawing living beings, drawing humans was shunned, forbidden, not done because of Islamic rulings, Islamic morality, which is of course very, very important. Which is why just try to think of classical paintings. Can you think of Islamic paintings? Are there paintings that come from Muslim culture? No, there aren't. There aren't any very well-known portraits of very well-known paintings of people coming from Islamic culture. In fact, you can try out something very funny directly here on Google. Look for Islamic art, and you will get this. Right? So, apart from some modern things and some things from Persia, you will mostly get just shapes. That's it. This is Islamic art. Just shapes and text. And then look at Christian art, and you will get this.
Based.
See? And this is because of Islam. This is because of Islamic rulings. Yes, this is actually how much impact a stupid statement like this from Muhammad has in the real world. And this is why in the Islamic world, drawing is not, painting is not a very popular thing. This is why the Islamic world is significantly behind in terms of proper paintings, talent in that regard, and so on. It's a generational thing. In Europe, you have great paintings in history that we all know of. You don't have that in Islam. So it's very, very stupid, incredibly stupid. Imagine forbidding art. Article 19 bans the playing of music. Yes. Article 19 bans the playing of music. The playing of music. The transportation of solo female travelers and the mixing of men and women who are not related to each other. The law also obliges passengers and drivers to perform prayers at designated times. In serious religious, traditional Muslim environments, music will be banned and people will not listen to music. In my household, we were not allowed to listen to music. It was forbidden.
Well, how did you become so familiar with the best of Falco then?
I always had a great love for
that.
music, so I listened to music a lot secretly, and my parents became aware of it, and they were kind of at some point like, okay, fine, just. They would tell me not to do it, but they would just allow it at some point.
I had a Walkman under the floorboards with the best of Falco tape.
Yes. And my father came in one day and sat down and said,
"What is this?
Are you hiding a Walkman under your floorboards?"
I heard you going, Amadeus, 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 Amadeus.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up. Pretty messed up. Given the multiple issues outlined in the report, the position expressed by the de facto authorities that this oversight will be increasing and expanding gives cause for significant concern for all Afghans, especially women and girls, said Fiona Fraser, the head of the Human Rights Service at the UN mission in Afghanistan. The Taliban rejected the UN report. That's it. That's it. That's it. What in the world do you think the UN does nowadays?
Runs cover for Islam, pretty much.
Yeah. They're like, hey, this is going too far. You have to stop this. You have to put an end to it.
Yeah, patience. Just wait a little longer.
And Taliban comes and says, shut up. We don't care. That's it. Look at this beautiful woman here. Look at this. Wow.
Hey, where's my wife? I have to find her now. Oh no, she's at the movies. Where's my goat? Come here, goat.
This is not funny. This is very, very bad. This is oppression. And if you told me that this woman, if you told me that these women are choosing to simply dress like this and to cover themselves up completely, including their faces, and they feel happy this way, right? And if a woman actually said to me, listen, I know what you're thinking, but I actually choose to wear this and I'm happy with it, I would think, yeah, okay, whatever. It's stupid, but whatever. If you want to do it, okay. In Afghanistan, however, women do not choose to do it, okay? Even if some of them like it, even if some of them think this is good, and if they are okay with the law, it does not matter in the end because they don't have a choice. It is now imposed. It is the law. They have to do it. Somebody who doesn't want to wear a hijab at all now has to cover up, has to be covered up, has to be in a prison all the time whenever she goes outside. This is Islam. And this is not just some extreme interpretation or extreme form of Islam. It simply is regular Islam. There is a distinction to be made here, which is, I think, very important. Which is that when when ISIS does something, or when Saudi Arabia, or when other Islamist organizations and governments do things like these, people often blame this on a certain radical, strict interpretation of Islam. And what they're talking about there is Salafism or Wahhabism, as they call it, which is this traditionalist, revivalist form of Islam that seeks to be heavily legalistic, literalist, and reversing all kinds of progress and so on. The Taliban, however, is not part of that. The Taliban is not a Salafi group. They are a regular Sunni, Hanafi, Maturidi group, which is the most popular aspect, the most popular way of practicing Islam. Turks, for example, are mostly part of the very same Islam. They simply don't implement it. They simply are not very religious. This is not about the ISIS ideology or the Salafi ideology, the Saudi Arabian ideology. This is simply about Islam. The Taliban simply follows regular Islam. The Taliban, in fact, follows the very same Islam that I followed and that my parents followed and that lots of people that I knew followed. It's regular Islam. It's not a radical interpretation of Islam. It just means taking Islam seriously. I have their law book here. I have this law book here, which is a book of Islamic jurisprudence. It is called now I dropped all my books. It is called Mukhtasar al-Quduri. It's considered the most popular book of Islamic morality and Islamic law among Hanafi Sunni Muslims, which happens to be the biggest legal branch of Sunni Islam. Most Turks follow this. In fact, the Taliban promotes this book. People in Afghanistan and other places usually promote this book to follow proper guidance in terms of Islamic jurisprudence and morality. People in Turkey promote this book. People in my movements and my environment promoted this book. This is simply what the Taliban is following. This is not extreme. It simply is regular Islam implemented properly. That's it. This is what Islam is. This is why people should be aware of what Islam is and not allow it to thrive. That's it. David, what do you think about this Islamophobic speech?
It's pretty much the most racist thing I've ever heard in my life.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Let's look at some super chats here. Let's look at them super chats. Let's see what's happening here. All right. Mortal Wombat gifted 20 Apostate Prophet memberships. Thank you so much, Mortal Wombat. I really appreciate it. Very nice of you, Mortal Wombat. Very, very, very nice. Thank you. Ayatollah Khamenei said, IRS, IAP, you owe us 50 billion in taxes. AP, it's slow mode. Pearly, I felt so special when Mohammed Hijab called me Sharmuta in a sexy voice, so Islam must be based. The RFB says, what do you call Jews for Jesus? Christians. This is very offensive. Ayatollah Khamenei, Shmuley lost his cool and let his feelings get the best of him, and dressing in the Jewish slander outfit was not helpful. I have to say that is that was one of the most ridiculous things he ever did.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
That makes me think of a certain tweet that lives in my head rent-free, as the young people nowadays say. Jews control the world. Let me find this. Okay. I can never forget this tweet by Avi Yemini. So he tweeted this image of Rabbi Shmuley and said, Jews control the world. Dude, we can't even control Rabbi Shmuley. So
it is a funny little point, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, wait, you have these diabolical masterminds in these sophisticated offices and conference rooms behind the scenes, and that's what they came up with?
That's weird.
Yeah. Again, everyone. I've always liked Rabbi Shmuley, but he went off the deep end.
Yeah. That's pretty messed up. Somebody earlier said Shmuley is a funny name. It's actually literally the name Samuel is Shmuel in Hebrew, and from that Shmuley is derived. That's it. It's not very difficult, actually. Hu Jintao, my successor knows how to treat Islam in Xinjiang. Alhamdulillah. Gautam said, I'm curious to see hijab versus William Lane Craig. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's coming up.
That's announced, right?
Cameron announced, that's okay. Kind of a dream situation for hijab because we've been saying he's not going. I mean, he's never going to defend Islam unless he found someone who's like completely ignorant. There's no scenario where he's going to step up on stage with a critic and show why Muhammad is a true prophet or show why the Quran is the word of God or something like that. We know that's not going to happen. And we know he won't debate anyone who is basically on to his tactics. But the difference here is that like you could line up 100 Dawa guys, say, what do you want to do? What if the world was going to give you what you want? What do you want to do? 100 out of 100 would say, we want to sit there and attack the Trinity while someone's not going to attack our position in response. 100 Dawa guys out of 100 Dawa guys would all want the exact same thing: attack the Trinity without Islam being on the table for discussion. And that's why this is actually different, that they're doing a debate on the Trinity. It's not about Islam. Muhammad Hijab has been having a rough time lately, taking a lot of L's, lots of humiliation, being called out by lots of his fellow Dawa guys. And so this is like his opportunity for redemption. If he can go in there, blast away at the doctrine of the Trinity, he's thinking all will be forgiven. And so this is like his golden moment here. So see what happens.
Beast. That's pretty true. Sandman said, David Wood, you heard the argument that 547, let them judge by what Allah revealed in it, proves that not the whole Injil should be followed. Sounds dumb to me. Have you heard that argument?
I've heard that. And it says, because judge by what Allah revealed in it. They there are people who will say, oh, so it's not saying all of it. It's just what Allah revealed in it. Yeah. Now keep reading. Allah revealed all of it. Like if I said, hey, Muslims, judge by what Allah revealed in the Quran. No Muslim would hear that as, oh, I'm saying that there are parts that are corrupted and changed, but somehow they magically hear all these things when they're reading the Quran.
That's true, innit? Apostle of Allah, what's up? Said, sup, big dogs. I have nothing to say. I just wanted to use the member milestone chant. I'm also looking forward to Hijab versus William Lane Craig and Shmuley versus Owens. Yeah, we will comment on both of those instances, both on those things that will happen. Shout out to Apostle of Allah. She has a channel that's going pretty well right now. Go subscribe to Apostle of Allah. She's doing good stuff. And also go subscribe to that Jewish girl. And also go subscribe to Celeria Rosencroix. Yeah.
It is. Hey, little side note. It is cool that a bunch of people here are putting out content. That's cool.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's what they do. Cars in Depth. Tovia Singer is a better debater than Rabbi Shmuley. I have personally never heard either of them have a proper debate, so I can't really say anything about this. I don't really like watching debates anyway, especially if it's something I don't really care about very much.
You might want to go back to because it was short. They had a kind of short debate on Faith Under Fire way back in the day, but it was Michael Brown, and Rabbi Shmuley, and that's when I like saw. If you talk about biblical prophecies about Jesus and so on, Christians have the ones that we normally go to, Isaiah 53 and so on. When it's a Messianic Jew and a Jewish rabbi, and they're arguing about whether Jesus fulfills the messianic prophecy, they're like they're going on a way deeper level and so on. But it was actually very cool to watch. We should review that one day. Look, maybe sometime after Rabbi Shmuley's debate. Sometimes we'll go through like his short debate with Michael Brown from like 20 some years ago.
I like watching. I like Charlie Brown, so I might look into that.
He's a clown. That
I
Charlie
do
Brown.
like Charlie Brown.
You don't even know
Charlie
the song.
Brown.
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown.
He's a clown. He's gonna get caught. Yes, you wait and see. Why's everybody always picking on me?
You know what I just remembered randomly? The hadith where where Muhammad sees a woman outside and then gets aroused and has to go to his wife and have sex.
Oh.
This is a hadith that I brought up in one of my oldest videos about women.
Oh.
And when Farid made a response to that, he stopped and was like, okay, so what did the Prophet ﷺ do? So what did he do? Yeah, he went to his wife, right? He didn't go and attack the woman. He went to his wife. So why do you have a problem with this?
I said it. That's what they look at it in a good sense. Like, oh, look, see, he went and ran to his extremely smelly wife, smelling like the stench of 1,000 armpits. And yeah, that's not the issue, guys. The issue is that the guy you all look up to as the greatest moral example of all time couldn't walk down the street without having to run home to his wife. And we look at this and we look at how you guys are in the world today and we say, oh, we see a connection here. What happens when no one learns self-control?
That's true. That's what they do.
That is what they do.
That's what they do.
I said it's what they do.
That's what they do. That's what they do. Anyway, Ayatollah Khamenei says, shout out to my homie Aaron Bushnell, bro will never cook again. Yeah, but he cooked really hard, right? So
you guys are pure evil over here on this channel.
This is not funny, man. It's an unfortunate man with severe mental health issues.
And it's kind of messed up because he does something like that and gets a ton of attention for a week. And then like I literally had to sit here for like 15 seconds going, who's Aaron Bushnell? I remember the name. I can't remember. And I'm thinking cooking, something to do with cooking. What's it about? And then, AP's laughing. That means it's something really, really messed up. And it's something really, really evil because he thinks it's funny. And then I remember, guys, don't set yourself on fire. I'm glad that didn't take off. I know there was some sort of copycat after that and stuff, but I'm glad that didn't really take off because that was the concern. That now you're going to have all these people running around. Free the whales! I'm setting myself on fire.
Burning yourself is not funny, and burning yourself is not good. By burning yourself, you will not do anything good. It's not nice. Do not burn yourself. I guess you brought this. I guess Ayatollah here brought this up because I posted about this earlier. Suleiman Ahmed said, "Not all heroes wear capes."
Yeah, not all heroes.
Not all heroes. He can't spell, obviously. Not all heroes.
Is this guy a lawyer or something? He can't spell the word all.
He is a lawyer, I think. He's a trained lawyer of Islamic law or of Islamic finance or something. I don't know. So he said, not all heroes wear capes. And then he posted a picture of Aaron Bushnell. But why exactly is this guy a hero? Because he burned himself?
Yes.
Because he burned himself? Anyway,
Yeah.
So I said, someone who burns himself is a hero. Not surprisingly, since you also love people who blow themselves up.
That's true. That's kind of mean.
Yeah.
You really can't help yourself, do you? You just have to say something mean in response to everyone.
Yeah, I love being mean, man. I just love it. I just love it. Did you know that Irish people control America? Look at this.
Whoa.
I'm pretty sure this was actually a response to Jake Shields.
Oh, is it one of those things where he like lists Jews who have any position anywhere and says, "You see," and so someone did it and said, "Okay, let me post a bunch of pictures of business people who are Irish," and then
What he actually did is, I think he made a tweet saying, "Who controls America?" in one word, and then somebody came and said, "The banks," and then he said, "Then and who runs the banks?" And then some were like, "Jews, Jews, Jews," and others were pointing out that is not even true. So the discussion came to this, and then came to how the investment firms are not even led by Jews; they are led by mostly Irish people or people of Irish origin. So this has become kind of a gag of people doing this whole this here of mocking these cartoons with an Irish person. And things like that. The Jews run America. The Jews run the world order. So anyway, that's the issue. That's the issue. That's what people do. That's what people do. That's what they do. Bottom G, yo, Pray Sharmura, you look so dope. Yo, Pray Sharmura, you look so dope. Tied up in the bag of my Bugatti. A badass IDF girl strangles him with her spare yellow bikini. Oh man, Ayatollah Khamenei. I tried making popcorn again, and I Bushnelled it yet again.
oh, he's trying to start up Bushnell as the new word for burn.
Burn.
Like you say, if you burn someone up, you say, "I Bushnelled that dude, man."
I often can't remember the guy's name, and I keep thinking I remember it because I think arson, bush, burning, arson, and then bush, like in burning bush. So Bushnell.
These are AP's mnemonic devices for remembering names.
That's how I think. Natasha said, "Have you noticed Tater's eyebrows? Not even my gay friends have such plucking. I know, got mine done." Well, there was something that I brought up recently here, where I asked people why Andrew Tate sounds so gay. And of course, this is going to be a little bit uncomfortable for different reasons. But here is a comparison of Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate.
I'm really attracted to my wife. Well, and we've been isolated from each other for a long time because we were both so sick. It's been 2 years, really.
Girls come to me and go, "Yeah, beat it up." I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool." No, I mean it. No, bitch, I mean
it. When I hear this, I think, why does he sound so gay? This sounds pretty gay.
By the way, that was why there were that guy with all the dancing videos where he looks exactly like Andrew Tate. That's why those worked, because it seemed like the real Andrew Tate.
Yeah,
coming out to do all these nice dances in public places.
OMG, slay.
it. Go, "Yeah, beat it up." I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool." No, I mean it. No, bitch, I mean it.
Yeah, slay, queen.
I guarantee I changed the way you look at sex forever.
The physical intimacy element of our marriage is extremely important. We're very careful about that.
You're gonna be fucking crying. I won't cry. I bet you cry, bitch. I bet you fucking cry.
And value it extremely highly and pay a tremendous amount of attention. It's really important.
You're saying I wouldn't cry. You're challenging me to a fight. You're saying I can't hurt you. You're out of your fucking mind?
That the sexual element, the romantic element, those two things, when they're properly handled, they're indistinguishable.
I don't even have to fuck you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction. My dick can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about that? We walk in the bedroom. I start kicking your ass. No sex.
I just can't stand the sight of women. I can't stand the sight of women or the thought of sex. I just beat the crap out of everyone. No,
I must admit.
Let me go hang out with my bros. My bros.
I must admit. I didn't really buy into the whole idea that Andrew Tate is a very tough guy, but I must admit today that he is actually very, very tough. It's like hearing this, that he really, really, really is very tough on beating a woman in the bedroom, in his bedroom. Wow, never heard anything so tough and so brave and so stunning. This is amazing, man. This guy is so tough.
Little
Wow.
side note: there is some screenshot-worthy material of some of the pics of just these random facial expressions for thumbnails and stuff for like a live stream.
Yeah.
Some of these are very good facial
Yeah.
expressions for thumbnails.
This is a good one here. Yeah.
Then,
And if you think that sex is okay without romance, you don't know anything about romance.
can I say this on YouTube? Yeah, I can say this on YouTube. I've legitimately done that. Girls running their mouth. I start beating the fuck out. I'm not even having sex. They love it more than ever. They like it more. The less sex you have with them, the better.
Because
Better.
And now your girls are all snitching on you.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate.
I love it.
It turns out when that girl, the girl who was 15, Vivian or whatever her name was remaining loyal to him and defending him and so on, I was like, gosh, he was completely successful in the conditioning and the brainwashing and so on, to the point where it doesn't matter what you do, these girls will still defend you. And yet here you find out that she was just remaining loyal because he was paying her.
Yeah.
And then we didn't pay her enough. Then she's testifying against him. So great job, Andrew.
There's a very dark aspect of this. Two of the women who are named on in the documents were transferred by Andrew Tate at the beginning of the case to Dubai and are now kept there on property that he that is, I think, his, that he owns, or that whoever works for him owns. They are being kept there, and from there they record videos occasionally and make posts defending Andrew Tate and saying that he's such a good guy and everything that everyone says about him is complete nonsense and all that. He actually had those women transferred over there, and there were transcripts also caught from prison where he instructed them to speak well about him, to go to the court and say only nice things, and say that he's such a great guy, that all the allegations are nonsense, that they are not victims, and so on. He actually had those women transferred, moved over to Dubai. They are now held there by his employees, speaking good stuff about him. So what's very likely happening here, as is suspected, is that these women are now held there by force, where they have to make clear his image and say good things about him and defend him in public, at least. So this is just what's so messed up about this whole thing to me, that people will watch movies, right? They will watch movies where they see villains holding people by force, or holding women or others and mistreat them. And then they have an actual real case of Andrew Tate, who is a self-confessed pimp, who actually does the very same thing to people. And those very same people who watch those movies then start defending this guy, Andrew Tate, the actual villain in real life. I hope this guy dies. Seriously.
You're evil, man. You're worse than Andrew Tate. You want him to die?
Yeah.
No, you should want him to be humiliated. That's the worst thing that can happen to a narcissist. Total exposure, humiliation. Actually, the worst thing that can happen to a narcissist is him eventually being confronted with the fact that he couldn't manipulate his way out of a situation. And that is like, wait a minute, that's how I get by in the world, manipulating other people. Once you realize, oh, they're on to me, no one's falling for it anymore. What can I do now? It's like your life is over.
Well. I don't know. I think there's a better solution.
By the way, I think there are some. Isn't that some of the new charges that are brought against him was witness tampering and so on?
Yeah.
I think that's some of the new stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What a dope, by the way. He's sitting there texting, and he's calling from prison where they're recording his calls, telling people what to do to get these girls, to say and stuff. And all of that is witness stamp. It's like, and then probably his lawyer afterwards, dude, why do you keep doing this stuff that's illegal and you just do it like an idiot and you don't realize it? Like, well, nobody told me I could do that. I was locked up for years. Lots of dumb criminals. Lots of dumb criminals fall for the good cop, the bad cop, all that stuff. They fall for these things. You always think, wow, what an idiot. What an idiot. He gave them the information that they needed to prosecute him. What a dope. Andrew Tate is in his own category. In other words, you take the ultimate self-snitch that I've ever encountered in my life. Tate is like that times a million, like the dumbest self-snitch you've ever encountered in prison. Tate makes him look like a complete joke when it comes to self-snitching. He's the all-time king. No one's ever done it like this.
This guy, criminal lawyer Bruce,
he's awesome.
He did a whole analysis, did multiple episodes on Andrew Tate, and he makes videos of criminals self-snitching, of exposing their crimes. And of course, when the whole Andrew Tate thing started blowing up, he looked into it and he immediately jumped on it because he thought this is a perfect example of a criminal self-snitching. And
it is.
People think this is not something that happens. It happens all the time. This guy covers it. This guy makes videos about idiot criminals self-snitching. They think they're so smart. They think they're so brilliant. They are so narcissistic that they actually think, I am so smart. I'm so brilliant. Nobody will understand this. Nobody will ever be onto me. And they self-snitch and they put themselves in trouble and they go to prison for decades. So
yeah, look, self-snitching is normal. I mean, you can have the people who the cop brings him a soda and then all of a sudden, like, he's this new buddy and or the cop goes, hey, just so you know, I agree with you, man. Yeah, wife gets out of line here and yeah, that's what happened. I beat the crap out of her. And then you snitch on yourself. Self-snitching is normally it's just you're talking about what you did. So you robbed a place and then you're telling someone, not realizing that person then goes and tells on you. So you self-snitched. Tate he's in videos. He's making videos that millions of people are watching, running his mouth about it. And it was all illegal. I mean, just imagine you rob a store. And there's been examples like this where someone like robs something and then like posts something on Facebook and people see it and report it. So oh gosh, that's my problem, man. People acting like he's this mastermind, and because of his extreme integrity, he's being attacked by the Matrix, looking at him as some hero when this guy is the all-time dumbest criminal ever. I mean, like, bar none. Dumbest ever. And biggest self-snitch ever. This guy would be a joke in prison.
Yeah. So he made multiple analysis of this stuff. He also got in touch with me. Maybe I should get back on that and
you should get him on your show, man.
Yeah, it's so funny. You know what the funny thing is? He got in touch with me. He messaged me one day and said, "Hey, love what you do." And I thought, wait, what? Hey, thanks. I love what you do, man. And then he made a comment on saying, I loved your video about some Muslim apologist. Totally unrelated stuff. I thought he was going to say something about Andrew Tate, but then he said to me,
I love your response, Ali Dawa. That
loved your video about this guy. So very, very interesting guy. Anyway, Kira said, insane neo-feminists are afraid if Trump president, it would turn into Handmaid's Tale. Afghan women are living in a Handmaid's Tale. That's effed up. This is one of those things that makes me angry about Western society. Where liberal Western society will depict these horrible circumstances like the Handmaid's Tale. Which, by the way, I don't know how the book narrative is, but I tried watching the show one day and I thought I really didn't like it. I thought this is so weird. It's like stuff that you have actually seen in real life is depicted on TV there as this horrible nightmare that is supposed to happen. That is how Western people feel. Western people, in Western culture, you make something like The Handmaid's Tale and depict some horrible oppressive world in the future, in a possible future, right? In a dystopia. Islamic society is already like that. But those same liberals will then defend Islamic societies.
And do everything they can to make sure it takes over.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Good show. It's a good show, LOL. I don't know. I just found it extremely boring. I tried watching it and I was falling asleep. Then again, I know that lots of people find the Matrix movies fantastic. They think they think the first Matrix is one of the best movies ever made. I watched it twice. The first time I fell asleep because I thought it was extremely boring. The second time I watched it, paying close attention to it.
Stupid.
The second time I watched the whole thing, paying close attention to it, and I get it. I get the message, and I understand why some people think it's great and it's very smart and all that, but I just think it's not that special. It's probably one of the most overrated things in the culture. It's horrible.
You are sounding extremely gay right now, AP. Extremely gay. That's all I can say.
Plus, it's not even smart. It's not even.
Oh my goodness!
It's not even that smart. Multiple things don't make any sense.
No, there's one thing they screwed up. One thing. It's when they said they were turning human beings into batteries. That
exactly.
Was the thing that made
exactly.
No sense, right? Human beings. When I see something like that, human beings are terrible means of converting energy to another. It's because we're very we waste a lot of energy. So if you're using a human being, you're putting in more energy than you're getting out. It's stupid. So that's ridiculous. In the original was it avoided this. I have no idea why they changed it. In the original was human beings became part of this network because the computer was using their brains as part of this network. So they're using human brains as like computer chips. And so they linked all the human brains to be like a giant computer and so on, which that makes sense. As crappy as human beings are as batteries, they would be very powerful computer processors. So that would have been great. And I don't know why, because other than that, it would have been an awesome. I mean, it's still silly, but would have been really awesome without that one stupid thing about batteries. It even holds up a battery to turn human beings into this. He holds up a Duracell.
I just find the whole thing ridiculous, man. It's so childish to me. The whole pretentious way of talking during the whole movie.
Oh yeah, they kind of went overboard with like everyone has to dress cool and be super cool and stuff like this, and everyone has to be decked out in leather. That's how you'd go around if you were in the Matrix and so on. But other than that, it was a banging movie, man. They had kung fu, and that's it.
I don't know.
No, it was awesome, man. They had one of the coolest villains of all time, Agent Smith.
It's on my top 5 movies, top 5 most overrated movies of all time.
No, it's not. Hey, the interrogation scene where they first bring him in. They must have actually like really studied police interrogations, because he did everything. Agent Smith seemed like someone who was programmed with every sort of interrogation tactic known to man, and like does like the perfect, we're on your side, why don't you give us what we need, we'll help you out, and so on. But right when he walks in the room, it was like every single super good cop as far as who can get information out of people, like he was all of them rolled into one. It was too perfect. So stop hating. Great
Blade
movie.
Runner is good. I like Blade Runner. It's a bit too long for its genre, though. I mean, honestly, even the Barbie movie is better than The Matrix. Anyway, Lil Drill Music said you guys should watch Alex Jones Will Hunt Down the Enemies of InfoWars. It's really funny.
You should put it on.
We'll have a look at it. Alex Jones will hunt down enemies of InfoWars.
There are people out there. Return of the Frog's gay, and we're going to hunt them down.
Come on over here. Come on, coward.
Come on over here.
Come on, coward. I know that I want to punch you in the nose. I'll beat your goddamn ass, you son of a bitch. You're an intellectual dumbass.
Okay. I can't play the whole thing because of music.
Yeah,
but,
there's a concern about the music.
I don't want the stream to be taken down.
I told you before that I had never actually watched anything by the guy, and all I'd seen were like these compilation clips of him acting totally unhinged and so on. So I thought that I was like, why does anyone watch him? He sounds like a complete lunatic. Until I watched him respond. One day, I watched a clip where he's responding to Joe Rogan. I was like, oh, I get it. This is awesome to watch. So they're saying,
Yeah.
and Joe Rogan says he want to give me a hug. I don't want a hug. I want war. I'm built for war. And I'm like, he's saying this to Joe Rogan. I'm just like dying laughing because Joe Rogan would beat the crap out of him. Anyway.
Yeah. Blade Runner sucks. The original one from the 80s, not the later one.
It's weird. I saw it. I don't remember it. I mean, I remember like some of it. I remember you got Rutger Hauer acting all creepy, and then Daryl Hannah's doing backflips and stuff, but I don't remember it very well.
Stephen Glenn said, I think AP is rage baiting. LOL.
Yeah.
You actually did get that one. I many of the things that I say about what people really love when I start talking trash about it, I only mean like 10% of it. Most of it I just do because I love people getting outraged about such supposedly common sense things. Yeah, it's fun. I love it. That's what I do.
Urinating upon one another. That's what they do.
Hu Jintao said China should take MO, hijab, Ali Dawa, Dili Hussein to Xinjiang for education. Also, Suleiman Ahmed, that guy deserves to be there just for his accent. That guy really has big problems, man. He really needs to. I actually earlier today I was sitting here and I was thinking. Remember when Suleiman Ahmed had his debate with Destiny, and he said this thing. And historians actually say that totalitarians, last longest, and they also say that Islam, the Muslims are currently the totalitarians. So I was thinking about that randomly, and I thought, I'm still wondering what the hell he was trying to say. So I checked it quickly if Destiny is live. So I went on Destiny's Discord and said, "Hey Destiny, I have a quick question. Do you have any idea what Suleiman Ahmed meant to say that day?" He said, "I have no idea." I said, "Okay, well, thanks. See ya." So nobody knows. Nobody knows. We still don't know what exactly he meant. We will never know. Ari Wasserman saw in JNS that Talib Sharif, the Imam who made dua at the DNC, is Muslim Brotherhood and from the Nation of Islam. Well.
That wouldn't make no sense right there, what you just said. Muslim Brotherhood would be Orthodox Sunni. Nation of Islam would not be. So,
yeah, Nation of Islam and Muslim Brotherhood would be different.
In other words, Muslim Brotherhood would view Nation of Islam as heretical.
That's true. Nation of Islam is a cult. They are not considered Muslim, even by Muslim standards. I would say it's even... Like we had the discussion about Mormonism and Christianity. I would say the Nation of Islam is even more detached from Islam than Mormonism is from Christianity. Yeah. Ayatollah Khamenei, Myron's head got them potato chip ridges. Dude. Sheikh Yarak said, "What color is your cell block? What color is your cell block?" What color is your cell block? Did you see Andrew Tate lawyer on Timcast lawyer saying Andrew Tate, a great man on Timcast, saying Andrew Tate crimes are 10 years ago, Dawa guy? Was it on Timcast? I don't know. I saw recently something disappointing from Tommy Robinson, where I think yesterday he was on a Spaces on Twitter. And he was asked about if he believes whether Andrew Tate is guilty of what he's accused of recently or not. And he said that I don't believe it. I don't believe it at this point. If independent judges come together and judge and conclude that he's guilty, then I will believe it. But right now, the media lies, people lie, and I don't believe it. So anyway, I sent him a message saying, "Hey, I have it all. I even have hundreds of pages of documents, and I'm happy to talk to you about it. Just let me know." Usually takes quite a while to get back. Let's see.
You should get Milk Bar on here.
Inshallah, should do that. I actually have. There is a 400-page document of the whole indictment of Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate and the others. I think it's 450 pages or 500 pages. I have all of it. I have it all. I can literally go through the whole thing. I'm actually planning on making a stream and going through the entire thing and just putting it out there with the title.
Hey, if you're gonna read through something like that and do your big live stream, you should also come up with a powerful condensed version, because Milk Bar and Murdered by Crayons actually helped out a lot of people with by putting some of that stuff into some short shareable versions. And now Tate, you see, like Tate's like saying they're gay and they're pedophiles and stuff, like attacking them like that now.
Yeah. Hey, that's funny. Logan's Run. I think this is kind of a cult movie. I watched that a long time ago. I actually kind of liked it. I don't think it's a very good movie, but I like things like that. That was a very weird movie. Robin Hood, Claude Rains. I want to create a movie critic channel where I just talk trash about everyone's favorite movies.
That would be funny if you're just like, but you're like talking about like the greatest movies of all time, but just like trashing them.
Yeah, Inception, one of the worst. Interstellar. How can it be so horrible?
You know what was actually funny was Key and Peele. They did this thing where they made this alternative channel with these alter egos, and it was called Critiquer's Corner. And they would, as their characters, they would make fun of the Key and Peele skits and say how to improve them, but they never understood what the actual point of the video was. So they always misunderstood it. And then they attacked the video based on their own misunderstandings. Something like that, where you're making fun of these movies, blasting away at them, but it's because you don't even understand like what the real plot was.
Yeah, that's funny.
That'd be funny.
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be a funny little side channel.
That'd be funny. You're gonna trash Gladiator next? No, don't be ridiculous. That's an actually good movie. That's actually a pretty good movie. Nothing intelligence-wise to critique about it. It's just a very good epic, which I appreciate. I will ban you if you suggest that I should talk trash about Gladiator. Robin Hood, Claude Rains, Police, Captain Casablanca. I'm shocked. There's gambling going on here. Manager, you're winning, sir. Andrew Tate, I'm shocked. There's trafficking going on here. Ari Wasserman, Kamalahu Akbar. Kamalahu Akbar. Good morning, gentlemen, said Vic Kumar and AP. It's funny how Islam uses the left to push an ultra-fascist religion onto people. That's what they do. Islam always takes advantage of you. And the left happens to be very stupid and often lacking basic principles to stand by its own values. They will easily help something as vicious as Islam and then be stabbed in the back. It's very obvious. Everyone who understands both of the ideologies knows. As soon as Islam wins, the first thing that Islam will go after is the left, the progressives, the progressive values. If communists together won with Islamists, the first thing the Islamists would go after would be the communists. But the communists, the leftists, the progressives, aside from sharing some qualities, also happen to be extremely ridiculously stupid, where they all the time, wherever you look, make this incredibly stupid move of helping the Islamists get to power and then handing them the knife with which they get stabbed in the back. It's so stupid every single time. That's what they do. Ayatollah Khamenei, the Ottomans did nothing wrong, said Caliph Dan Bilzerian. Yeah, the Ottoman were solid creatures, man. Ayatollah Khamenei said gifted Apostle Prophet memberships. Oh, thank you so much, Ayatollah. Thank you. The MB should become Ahmadiyya to show Islam's diversity. Sheikh Gadek, had a Muslim on X tell me the hadith I showed him was Zionist propaganda. I proceeded to laugh so hard I threw my back out. I get it. That's pretty good. It's pretty
The
good.
Hadith is Zionist propaganda. It's actually funny.
ISIS are the Jews who truly worship Ezra. They believe in the trajectory of Lord Ezra. Says Mish SWB. Fox McCloud, isn't Dan Armenian? Islam is responsible for disappearing half its people's population. Yeah, well, some people, you have this band, for example, System of a Down, and they are Armenians. They recognize their heritage. They're actually kind of, I want to say, proud of it. And they have spoken in the past about Armenian suffering at the hands of Turks. You have people like that who are aware, who have some self-awareness, and then you have idiots like Dan Bilzerian who just live in complete nihilism and degeneracy, and then come out and hop on the latest trend, and then start talking the biggest trash about how the Jews are actually the bad guys. The Jews committed the genocide. Actually, maybe it wasn't even maybe it wasn't Turks, or maybe it was the Jews who did it. Everything was done by the Jews. I mean, to this day, we don't know who did the Big Bang. Who did the Big Bang? Big Bang! It was the Jews, I'm telling you. Cam said, told you guys he would convert from PBD. He is perfect for Islam. Him and Andrew started a channel called Bro Hub. Sorry, Goat Hub, they're coming for you. That's good. They should start Bro Hub. First time I ever heard of PBD was when he complained that Shapiro was a wuss for being mad at Joe Rogan for saying that Jews love money. Really? That's... yeah. PBD is pretty weird. The events in Afghanistan clearly show collusion on the part of Big Whiteboard in order to increase shareholder value, sickening American capitalism. This is a good theory. Maybe we should go after the whiteboard companies. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Destiny and Javad debated on MDD. Will you review? Here's the thing. I like Destiny despite the fact that he's a very sick person. I really don't like Javad.
Javad the Shia dude?
No, Javad he's not Shia. He's regular. He's Sunni, but he's kind of Javad Hashmi.
Yeah, he's like Shia or Ismaili or something, isn't he?
No, he's not. He's Sunni.
How he blasts the hadiths.
No, he has big disagreements on interpretation and reformism and stuff like that. Khalil Andani.
Yeah, Javad's a dirtbag. He's actually worse than Hijab. He just has better credentials and pretends better.
Oh, what? Their debate on Destiny's channel.
The whole world is lost.
280,000 views. But it's 3 hours long.
Yeah, but check the comments.
Javad, here's 10 quotes. Destiny, what are the contexts of the quotes? Javad, here's 10 more quotes. God. The one thing I learned from Jawad is that no single Arab has ever attacked a Jew.
Nice. That's true.
ChatGPT, generate 3 hours of pro-Palestine propaganda in the style of Norman Finkelstein.
These comments are funny, man.
Doctor who tries to call others racist and perpetuators of harmful stereotypes spends 3 hours calling Jews sneaky and underhanded. Well.
That right there is an important point that's just, I mean, the level of hypocrisy that for decades we were told, hey, it doesn't matter how many Muslim terrorist attacks there are, you can never associate it with Islam, and you can never be at all suspicious of any other Muslim who hasn't already died in a terrorist attack. That's what we're told by the Muslims and the leftists forever. And then all of a sudden we get to the issue of Israel, and anything any Jew has done or ever said literally in the entire history, anything any rabbi has ever said becomes the standard for all Jews everywhere. And again, it's the same exact people who are telling us don't associate what that Muslim did with other Muslims, and now anything from any Jew in history. That's funny.
I think my chances of getting into Harvard are sky high now. It's because Javad is at Harvard, right?
Look at the one below that. Mr. Borelli.
Another PhD added to Mr. Borelli's collection. He's a PhD on religion, not history. It is like someone having a PhD in philosophy trying to debate theoretical physics, yet call themselves a PhD. That is an interesting point. But I don't know what exactly they're talking about.
It looks like he's wearing makeup.
Most replayed part. Let me see here.
So that's another big talking point of Zionists, where they say
you're going to talk about how the 3 no's no actually is like yes in Arabic or something, or what are we doing here?
That's funny, right?
That's funny. I didn't know what he actually sounded like.
That's funny, right? It was actually funny. The 3 no's is an agreement by the Arab nations after the 1967 war to what was it? No peace, no recognition, no something with Israel. There was Arab policy to completely shut Israel out and only talk to Israel once Israel is destroyed.
So, Avi Schleim, quote, in fact, the conference was a victory for the Arab moderates who argued for trying to obtain the withdrawal of Israel's forces by political rather than military means. Not a de jure recognition of Israel. Okay. At Khartoum, Nasser advised and indeed urged King Hussein to explore the possibility of a peaceful settlement with Israel. Quote, but Israel's leaders feared the new manifestations of Arab moderation and progress towards peace. They therefore deliberately misrepresented the conclusions of the Khartoum summit.
Yes, then he's eating his lunch.
Is this really what he's doing the whole time? Is this what the comments are saying? He's just reading in the debate?
Yeah, that means he's just quote, blah, 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 quote, blah, 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 quote.
Look, reading is reading is a good thing. Reading is essential to preparing for a debate, but just reading lengthy quotes during a debate, that's not what you're supposed to do.
As the climax of Arab intransigence in order to justify the toughening of their own position. Iron Wall, page 276 to 277. Meanwhile, while you're talking about the 3 no's of
3 no's, no negotiation. Okay, so it's no recognition, no peace, no negotiation with Israel. That's what they do.
The Palestinians, here are the 5 no's of the Israelis, even as late as the 1990s. Israel, quote, clung to the current 5 no's. No to a Palestinian state. No to a return to the 1967 borders with only minor modifications. No to a discussion of the permanent peace settlement. No to withdrawal from the Jordan Valley. And no to a negotiation with the PLO.
Wasn't that just like the same thing 5 times?
No, that's not.
Okay.
Things.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Would you?
But things only cut. Yeah, the only things cut one way for you. I know that. Okay.
Wait, hold on. No, the 3 no's for the Khartoum conference were pretty distinct. 1 was there could be no formal peace agreement. The 2 is that they can't negotiate anything, so no economic ties or anything. And then the 3rd was you could never even recognize Israel as a country that you could even do business with. There was nobody
I'm not
even
going to quibble on you because this is a silly point to quibble on.
Okay,
but
I'm so sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, my bad.
That's funny.
Is this guy okay? As far as I understand the context, this guy is really here arguing basically that that you can't blame the Arab nations for the 3 no's because Israel was also refusing to accept certain conditions. Excuse me, we just mentioned, look at this. 3 no's. The 3 no's, Khartoum resolution. The 3 no's are the following. No peace with Israel, right? Here, no peace with Israel, no negotiation with Israel, no recognition of Israel. 1967. If Arab countries agree that there will be no negotiations with Israel, what exactly is Israel left with? What standards, what agreements, what conditions? This is so weird. Okay, this seems like a very, very, very silly debater, Jawad.
When Zionists, you did whitewash. I'll show you how you whitewashed it. You tried to downplay. You said only 10 to 20,000 people fled, were expelled.
It was like 700,000. What are you talking about?
I have the.
Yeah, what is the receipt? What did I say? 10 to 20,000. What?
Okay. I come with receipts, my friends. So,
okay.
But wait, let me finish my second.
My bad.
Point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which
Destiny, man. Okay, well, it looks like Destiny ate the guy up. So, inshallah. He also Javad challenged me to a debate on modern day debate on the same on the same topic, and I never responded to him. Honestly, James sent me an email, I think, asking if I want to do the debate. I said I'm not really that interested, and I left it at that. When I saw that they have a debate scheduled together, Destiny and Tim, I thought, I wonder if I should debate him. But then I'm still leaning toward no, because I really can't stand the guy, and I can't imagine that it will be an enjoyable debate at all. I think it would be torture for me, and I've tortured myself a lot in public, and I like it, torturing myself. But this one is too much even for me. Apollo's Christian Apologetics said Israel is actually merciful to Muslims and Palestinians. They could end the Islamic faith by flying a plane at the Kaaba, and Islam would lose all hope. The other day, Israel rescued a hostage from Gaza. The hostage was a Bedouin Muslim. The entire nation of Israel celebrated on that day. Religious people, non-religious people, secular people, right, left, across the board. Israelis were happy and celebrated on that day the rescuing of a Bedouin Muslim guy who was captured by Hamas. It wasn't some Jewish guy who is allegedly white. It wasn't anything like that. It was a regular Bedouin Muslim guy, and the entire nation of Israel was celebrating, and they are still celebrating. And yet you will again have people going around and accuse Israel of only caring about Jews and this and that. It wasn't even for publicity. It was the entire people of Israel celebrating the freeing of a Muslim guy who is simply Israeli because he's from Israel and who was captured. On the other side, you have people who literally believe in killing all the Jews and destroying Israel. Cam, hijab see though, watch out, guys. Hijab see though, watch out,
guys.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Carlo Magno, I don't know, AP. At least they'll never have a Kamala Harris for president. This is a good point. I might move to Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. Anley, thanks for exposing Islam for the horror that it is. Thank you, Anley. Appreciate it. D. Bodro, hey, what's up, D? If they would allow enough women doctors, they could remove the vocal cords of little girls before they are married off. A 50-year-old man's dream.
50-year-old man and Andrew Tate.
Yeah. It's pretty dark, but yes. Man, Muhammad's companions really be pioneering the goon lifestyle. 8th century Arabia really changed the game for Chuck Berry. Don't look it up. Okay, I won't. Ari Wassam and Chris Hansen, why did you say to her, I always watch you go to pee-pee every night? Umar Ibn al-Hijab busted. Hey, did you see this video by, you should watch the video by Egyptian Atheist. I shared it on my community tab. He actually made it
on hijab.
yeah.
I did see that.
It's pretty amazing, pretty damning. He actually told me about this. He texted me and called me and told me about what he found about Muhammad hijab from many years ago. That he ran basically a fraud certificate business. Then he made a video about it now, and it's pretty harsh. But of course, Muslims never lie. Ayatollah Khamenei said AOP loves his what? Something Peace loves his talk about bathroom watching so much that he's posting toilet emojis. Truly a new level of degeneracy. Yeah. Oh, people referring to Peace, that user who was talking trash about Jews and Christians in the chat, whom I banned earlier, because all he did was just that.
Pretty weird.
Tez bought jizya from the appalling Islamic communist state of really not so great Britain. Alhamdulillah. I guess thank you for the jizya. Guess if I'm Turkish, that's how I feel. Yeah, bad. All Turks always feel bad. Muslims, how is your religious leader acting like Stifler? Bro, hide the pies. K-Force, Ahmed Muslim. I never even watched it. I only saw one scene in my life. That's all I know about it.
Yeah, I never saw it either, but I know I heard what the I heard he humped a pie or something like that. So hide
that's
the
the
pie.
only thing I've seen of it.
Yeah. But that would be Muhammad. Oh, I can't find my wives. So
K-Force, Ahmed Masood wants a woman PM for Afghanistan. Alhamdulillah. Mojab, a Sharmuta comes and goes in the shape of a devil like you. The RFB, I love that big oaf voice that both of you used to make fun of all those a-holes. I've been using it too. It's too good. Thank you for all you guys do. Appreciate it. I don't know what you mean. I only use my natural voice always. I never fake voices. You see? Ayatollah Khamenei, Islamic teen movie of Muhammad's life, be like, I have to take care of this. Coach Allah, where's Muhammad? The big game is tonight. Muhammad, I'm in the bathroom. I'll be right there. Oh man. Anna Wyckoff says Ayatollah Khomeini said that a man could release his lust with an animal. Like, here's the thing: when you say Ayatollah Khomeini, I'm thinking about our friend in the chat.
Hey, ban that dude. Ban that dude if he's saying that stuff here.
Ayatollah Khomeini said that a man could release his lust with an animal, but then the animal must die because it is impure, and then the man should sell it to another village, not his own. I saw that there is such a quote. I never really checked if it's authentic or not, because I never really cared that much about Shia and 12 for Shia and Khomeini and all that, which is, I guess, an attitude that I adopted from my Muslim times, where we basically had the view that that Shia are not real Muslims. I'm still wondering if that's accurate or not. Paolo Lungaro said, I made a short with Hamza straight caught in a lie, posted it on your X. I think I saw earlier that somebody tagged me. Was it you? Probably you. Let me see. Let me see. What? Are you going to say something?
Hamza from Hamza's den?
Mm-hmm. Hamza from Hamza's den. Hamza from Hamza's den. Where is it? I'm trying to find it. Trying to find it. Hamza caught. Ah, here, got it.
Hamza. Should be Hamza busted.
Hamza busted. Let's see.
So I was a tafsir hadith.
Oh, okay, but there's different. I didn't say tafsir is hadith. You know, tafsir is hadith.
What?
So I was a tafsir hadith.
Oh, okay, but there's different. I didn't say tafsir is hadith. You know, tafsir is hadith.
Okay, that looks pretty bad. I need to see the context.
Yeah.
I need to see the context, though. Yeah.
Yeah, so guys, there he said tafsir. Tafsir is commentaries on the Quran. Hadith are these collections of sayings and deeds of Muhammad and sometimes of companions and so on. What you would say is that tafsir, like tafsir of Ibn Kathir, he quotes a lot of hadiths to make his points and stuff, but
Continue. I interrupted you. I'm very sorry. I apologize.
Just saying.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
No, I was done. That's all I was saying.
I'm sorry. It's my fault. I apologize. I was looking for something else. Did you see recently people making posts? Wait,
I saw that one. That's funny.
Yeah, I made this stupid meme earlier because Dr. Lupus posted this thing of Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin supposedly saying, "Our race is the master race. We are divine gods on this planet. In fact, compared to our race, other races are beasts and animals, cattle at best." I seriously, if I saw this quote, even if it came from somebody that I really think is a really messed up, horrible person, I would think, okay, this sounds a little bit too far-fetched. I need to look this up and see if it's actually authentic or not. But people actually post dumb stuff like this about Jews and Israelis because nobody cares about fact-checking. The other side, they don't care about fact-checking. They just publish this nonsense. This is a completely fake, completely made-up quote.
Hey, there are proposed community notes, but I don't understand what you're objecting to. I mean, they got a picture of the guy. They've got a Star of David there. They got a little flower. They've got a quote, and they got the name and who he is. So what further evidence could you possibly ask for?
Yeah. Anyway, so then I made this because same standard here. I'm retarded and a liar. I can't believe people retweet my posts. Dr. Anastasia Maria Lupus.
Not in plastic surgery, lol. What? What's wrong with you,
man? Yeah. People have been making these posts about terrible people like Hitler, saying the world owes him an apology. So I decided to use the same concept into Netanyahu and stuff. Ari Wasserman said, Israel comes and goes in the shape of a devil. Hamas runs home to stick their hard rockets in the warm, wet Talmudic tunnels. This is true. Alhamdulillah. That's what they do.
Urinating upon one another.
Cam said, David should do Bob Ross in the Boom Boom Room.
Oh, yeah, because he'd be in trouble for... Oh, well, no, he might be okay because he likes painting pretty little trees.
Yeah. Makes me think of... what's his name again? That one guy who did a parody of him.
Oh, Steven Crowder did that, man.
Steven Crowder, yeah.
Yeah, that was classic.
Yeah, kind of a jerk. And Wyckoff said, how is anyone there going to practice medicine if they cannot have cannot have pictures of living beings? What do the medical textbooks look like?
Well, we just replace human beings with trees in our pictures. And then we practice operating using pictures of trees.
Operating on trees. That's pretty good. Beatrice Nunes said, Bomb Room, Muhammad and the Devil Woman. Hey. That's a funny idea. That is actually a funny idea. I'm going to pitch this to David. Maybe he will like it. Arya Wasam on bottom G. I'm in love with the shape of you. What color is my Bugatti? Badass IDF girl. I come and go in the shape of a devil. I don't need you. It's actually the guy Ruka Ali. He did a parody of Andrew Tate of that song. Pretty good. It's called What Color Is Your Bugatti? Ibn al-Furqan Me said, do women have to be covered while giving birth? Yes. Lloyd 444 AP on the agnostic scale, where are you leading? Don't know, where probably isn't a god, or I don't know, there probably is a god. Reasonings answer. Well, you didn't complete your question, so I can't really answer this question. Yeah, because it says here reasoning eswa. I don't know what that's. I don't know if you just cut it off there. Was there more to this? I don't know, but it seems that your chat is incomplete, so I don't know what you're saying. I can't answer your question. I'm sorry.
Yeah. In other words, you might have stopped before you said, haha, just joking with this question. Don't answer. But we don't know. You didn't finish.
Yeah. I don't know. I will never know. I'm just kidding. So
why do you have a picture of Mike Winger there?
On the agnostic scale, where are you leaning? I don't know. There probably isn't a god, or I don't know. There probably is a god. I think I'm in the middle of the most authentic agnosticism there is. I don't know, man. I was thinking today, if I wasn't so afraid of my very fickle mind, I would have probably acknowledged and converted to a certain religion a long time ago. If I wasn't worried about changing my mind in the future. I guess that's why people do like something called a leap of faith. I don't know. But I think I lean more toward I think I lean more toward the second one at this point. Take that as you wish. D. Boudreau said, a friend here told me people have two phones, one used for checkpoints. If physical search finds a phone with pictures of female friends, they get beaten black and blue. I've seen photos of injuries. What? A friend there told me. Okay. You've been in Afghanistan? That's pretty messed up. Well, there is a lot of blame to be put on the United States in terms of Afghanistan and where Afghanistan is right now. And there were things the United States could have done when they were in charge of Afghanistan. And instead, they wasted their time and wasted everyone's time with this stupid idea of nation building, which just went completely wrong and then pulled out and made a mess.
Yeah,
that sounds pretty sexual. I didn't mean that at all. Yeah.
Yeah, pulled out and made a mess. Yeah, the idea is, guys, and I was talking about how stupid everyone is with war nowadays. If you're gonna fight, then fight to win. If you're not planning on doing what you need to actually win, stay the heck out of it. What is your problem?
That's true. Anne Wyckoff said, covering women is about as funny as going back and visiting an 1860s U.S. slave market. This is true. That's the kind of comedy that we all love. Lloyd444, my jihad is sharing Keir Starmer memes. I don't know why you guys have a problem with that. All he does is put British people in jail. Ayatollah Khamenei said, AP, Egyptian atheist, made a new video in his sardonic style exposing Mohammed Hijab's scam artist dad. Check it out. Really? That's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
I should see that. I should check that out. Interesting. Who did you say? Egyptian atheist. Okay, I'll check it out. Philip Daniel, you should read Rescue the Surviving Souls by Adam Teller. It's about Ashkenazi Jews enslaved by Muslim Crimean Tatars in the 17th century. They were actually doing that. They were actually taking people from Northern and Eastern Europe and enslaving them. They were raiding for slaves. Mechanique, but I will check that out. Rescuing the Surviving Souls. Rescuing the Surviving Souls. Rescuing the Surviving Souls. I'll check it out. We'll check it out. Mechanique, thoughts on Nabi Asli? Beats modern Netflix anyway. Yeah, I think he does some good stuff. Lloyd444, have either of you reviewed the book Muhammad's Quran by Peter McLaughlin and Tommy Robinson? Nope. Makes sense the Irish runs the bangs. I'd rather have a leprechaun handle me a pot of gold. Yeah, me too. The Irish are doing a good job running the world, man. Goathub, AP, you look like an Ottoman. Burr, Schnell. There's a movie came out this year called The Goat Life, and every time it comes up, it reminds me of Goathub and you guys. Is there really such a movie? Yeah, there is. What the hell is that? Herding goats, something. What is this? Is this an Indian film?
What's that about?
I don't know. It's called The Goat Life.
Yeah, but what would a movie called The Goat Life be about?
I don't know. Is a Malayalam language survival drama film written, directed by Jugu. We're forced into what? It is an adaptation of the 2008 best-selling Malayalam novel Adujivitum by Benjamin, which is based on the real-life story of Najib, a Malayali immigrant laborer who were forced, one among thousands of Indians who were forced into slavery in Saudi Arabia as goat herds in secluded farms in the deserts by the native Arabs. Okay, I thought this has no relation to Muslim culture at all. But you're just joking about the whole goat life thing, but it actually does, but not in the sense that we thought. This is interesting. Huh. But it's an Indian movie. I'm not going to watch it. Honestly, and I'm not going to watch an Indian movie. Ayatollah Khamenei, Andrew Tate, future cellmates. I bet. Andrew Gates says, Tristan, you can come out the closet. The jig is up. Lloyd 444. I am genuinely convinced that people who are impressed with Andrew Tate and who actually watch his shirtless videos, who watch him sit there shirtless and talk about, they don't want after me because of my money and because of my cars, it's the Jews, and all that. I think they all have a fetish. I think they are gay, but in a very disturbing way. Genuinely, I think that Andrew Tate fans dream of what paying Andrew Tate members actually do, which is they used to do that. They can't do it anymore, but they would go to meetings with Andrew Tate where he takes his shirt off, and all of these tough masculine guys dream of just having a gay group sex event with Andrew Tate. That's what they are all after. All these Andrew Tate fans that you see online, they are dreaming. They're dreaming of watching, when they watch this shirtless guy, they're dreaming of just having sex with him in the gayest way. And they hate women. Some of them are married, but they hate their wives. They just want Andrew Tate instead. Even when they have sex with their wives, they just think, I wish this was Andrew Tate. I wish this wasn't my wife. I wish this was Andrew Tate instead. But this is just speculation. I'm just asking questions. Lloyd 444. Andrew Tate watches hub videos and punches himself. So he calls it master tating. Robin Hood, no living beings like goats. Yes. Akila Copeland said Andrew Tate's self-snitching is egregious, but it falls short of King Von. That's what you say. Ayatollah Khamenei, The Matrix is trash, pseudo-intellectual, trendy retelling of Plato's cave, utter garbage. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, and thank you.
No, that's the point, guys. They took a little stuff from Book 7 of the Republic, and they took a little bit from Descartes, from the first chapter of Descartes' Meditations on First Philosophy, and they wove a story out of it. That's not a negative, that's a positive. There are problems with the movie, which we've already addressed. But
it is a garbage movie.
Making an but taking a philosophical theme and making a cool movie out of it, that's not a downside. If you want the downside, watch part 2, where they took other ideas from philosophy and made really crap movies out of them. Cause and effect. Let's talk about cause and effect. And just so everyone knows, in philosophy departments make fun of the Merovingian's speech on cause and effect in philosophy departments. I think it's like hilariously stupid.
The funny thing is also that being in the Matrix has literally no downside at all. And there's absolutely no need to escape the Matrix. It's like, why?
All he offers is the truth, nothing more. That's your choice. You can remain in the Matrix, or you can eat whatever pill takes you out of the Matrix. Or is the
why would you leave the Matrix? And people are looking forward to dying and going to an afterlife that is basically the Matrix.
No, life would not.
Be good if life would be better if it was the Matrix.
He specifically said they made a perfect world, and the human brain would not accept it. Therefore, they had to make a crap world, Matrix.
My sister has watched The Breadwinner multiple times and still supports Islam cause minority. That's funny. Michael Feldman, Nation of Islam are Muslim are potential fifth columnists in America. I think they're just sick people.
You're sick.
They're sick.
You're sick.
Wait, wrong button.
You're sick. You are sick.
Lloyd 444, like the best Christian apologist competition where Winger came second. Can we do a head-to-head knockout tournament to find the worst Muslim apologist? I don't know. I have to think about that. I think the best Muslim apologist is hands down Al-Dawa, of course. Cam, what do you recommend to memorize Quran verses? Hey, they took a screenshot of that moment.
But what's funny is that picture, that's the face that Jake always makes in his videos. He looks like that the entire time he's talking. He makes that face. And let me tell you about Trinity. It's like, dude, smiles. Try smiling.
Yeah. Hosanna's anyway. So the Matrix is horrible, absolutely horrible. Like, watch something better. Like watch this movie called The Man from Earth. That's actually a good movie. Hosanna said, "Love you both. David's debate with Kenny on modern day debate about Muhammad's marriage to Aisha is what made me leave Islam. Pray for my husband to also leave Islam and accept Christ." It is pretty based. I'm very happy to hear that. Very happy to hear that, and very good to know. All the best. See, David, at least one person left Islam because of you.
Shout out to Kenny for challenging me to that debate.
Thank you, Kenny. Thank you. We all owe you everything. Hu Jintao said, "Don't forget Anna Kasparian, Armenian on Young Turks." Yeah, she's kind of weird. I don't know much about her. I've only seen her rants occasionally. Moo, the funny thing is, whenever I saw clips of the Young Turks, and I saw that Anna Kasparian, whatever, comment on things, and I saw Cenk Uygur comment on things, I have to this day the very same impression that I had the first time, which is, wow, she's really much smarter than the other guy. Cenk Uygur is a complete idiot. I don't know why he is even in charge of the platform. Like, she's much smarter than him. She actually offers proper insight into things occasionally. Cenk offers nothing except, "This is unacceptable. It's racist. It's racist. I don't like this. It's bad." And she's actually sitting there and forming proper sentences and analyzing things.
That's what sucks, man. Look, there's nothing wrong about being a total dope in the sense that you can't control what you're born with. You can only control what you do with it. But if you are like a total douche and a dope, and you spout complete idiotic nonsense, and you never understand arguments, and you offer solutions, and you think
You bigot!
And you think you're going to become president of the United States because you have this channel that doesn't get nearly as many views as it did before, and you expect people to take you seriously. It's like, how did someone like this ever become popular? Like, destroys your confidence in humanity and makes you start thinking that humans just need to be subjugated.
How could you say this? It sounds so bigoted and so racist. Do you know what you just said? Do you even hear yourself? I cannot believe that you're saying this. It sounds so racist. You are suffering from white privilege, and you probably support Donald Trump. I'm going to be the next president. I'm going to change things. Oh, boy. Are you proud of being Turkish at all? Said Moo. No. Like, then you think about your what? Like, then you think about it, your when, if, just what do you think? Or do you see yourself as a diverse mix of Mediterranean and Eastern cultures, AP? I'm glad you clarified AP. I thought this was a question for David.
Yeah.
Are you proud of being Turkish at all? Like, then you think about your when, if, just... I'm really wondering what you tried to say there. It looks like you tried to write something and then you deleted it and then you continued and you messed it up. That happens to me sometimes. Really wondering what you were trying to say. Or do yourself as a diverse mix of Mediterranean and Eastern cultures? I honestly don't care at all. I don't care I don't care even a bit about Turkishness. I don't care even one bit. It means nothing at all to me to being Turkish. It means not like waking up in the morning and going to the toilet means more to me than being Turkish.
But are you jealous of other people who don't have inferior Turkish genes?
No. Even that is less important to me than going to the bathroom in the morning. Literally going to the bathroom in one morning, just one day, is more important to me than whatever in the world it means to be Turkish. I don't care at all. I don't have that whole sentiment of being proud. I don't care at all. I'm a mix of different people. I actually had my samples for ancestry DNA, and then put them into different things to see how far back my my ancestry goes and what I'm mixed of, and it just looks like I am somehow a mix of completely different, diverse groups in Anatolia, probably made up of Armenians, Greeks, Turks, Iranians, and so on. And then at some point, at some point, people just put the whole label Turk and Muslim on it. That's it. Like, it means nothing at all to me.
A toxic cocktail of depravity, and then they just put a label on it, Turk.
Yeah. And then they told me, you are now supposed to be proud that you're Turkish. No, I don't care. I don't care. I do not care at all.
Yeah, why would that be something to be proud of anyway?
Yeah, I don't care. I literally don't care. I don't give a crap. Kiko 8 says, dudes, have you heard the news about Mimi Hijab's family scam college, Cambridge Training College? Yes. I actually heard about this from an Egyptian atheist who told me about it before he published it, and I was a little bit shook when I first saw it, and it seemed totally authentic, and it is authentic. It was him. He ran a scam in the past before he became popular as a Muslim apologist, where he sold fake language certificates to stupid people in the Arab world in Egypt who would think they're buying something from Cambridge. That's pretty funny.
I wasn't interested in it at all, and it wasn't surprising because I always assumed all these guys were like scam artists behind the scenes. It's like when someone like exposes a politician for lying. I was like, weren't all these guys lying? Or like this politician committed this crime, and I was like, I assumed they were all committing crimes behind the scenes. So nothing that would shake me mentally here. And so with it's a look, Hijab was in a scam. What else did you think he was doing? Like, I have no idea what else you think. It's like they're going to come out next week and did you know that they're all practicing polygamy and banging each other's daughters and stuff? It's like, oh really? Oh, shocker! I'm so shocked by that.
Alhamdulillah. Kurdistan shall rise. Yeah, the South will rise again. That's what they say in Turkey. Turksic. Turkish Matrix. AP, the most diverse man. Yeah. Timothy Moore made a good point and said AP still isn't apostate enough. He cares too much about how he relieves himself. This is something that is still left in me from Islam. I care a lot about how to go to the bathroom, farting, pooping, and all that. What?
Hey, did you know that Turkey made some movies back in the day?
They did.
I'm sure you watched the Turkish Rambo clips, but that was you guys made some serious YouTube gold with those movies back in the day.
Yeah, it wasn't me, but
everyone should watch Turkish Rambo. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Jihadis, I like my women how I like my coffee. Black, silent, and deficient in intellect.
That's false. Their obsession is blonde girls.
Yes. Well, with the cover black, the cover.
Oh yeah.
Chesky Goldberger, can David Wood respond to Tova Singer video about Candace O?
Tovia Singer made a video about Candace Owens?
He made a video. He didn't make a video. I think somebody came up to him during a conference or something and asked about the whole issue with Candace Owens, and then I saw like half of it. He started explaining it to the guy, and the guy didn't know very much. But he explained to the guy that basically that this is not about Christianity, and that Candace, with influence from her husband, follows a sect of Catholicism that rejects the authority of the Pope and specifically focuses on aspects of anti-Semitism. And her husband has a history with this, and she obviously adopted this from him, and so on. So it's a whole conversation about that. Because apparently the idea is that Candace is part of the, Sedevacantism, the guys who reject the authority of the popes after the Second Council. And Yeah, and they specifically have a problem with the fact that the Vatican denounced anti-Semitism. Yeah, I don't know. Check it out. Caleb Robinson, I like how Muslims subconsciously believe Jews are more powerful than Allah. Crazy how they think the Jews can corrupt that which Allah has said can't. This is the thing with the obsession with Jews. Both Muslims have that and the neo-Nazis have that. The neo-Nazis will on one hand suggest that Jews are racially inferior people, and on the other hand claim that they are that all their suffering is because Jews are so powerful that they control everything. And the Muslims will do the very same thing. They will accuse them of controlling everything and being responsible for their suffering, but also of corrupting all of their scriptures in the past, messing up Allah's plan, basically being better than Allah, and so on. It's just so insane. David, you were saying?
Yeah, the only thing here is that thinking is playing a role in the obsession with dealing with the Jews, that Muslims always seemed like powerless, like for decades, completely powerless. Like for 14 centuries, we've been crushing the Jews. And all of a sudden Jews just become indestructible powerhouses who can just slap around entire Muslim groups at will. Terrorist groups just slap them around like they're no problem at all. And always in the back of their minds, it's, gosh, why do these guys seem more powerful than Allah here? How is Allah on our side when this is going on? In other words, ladies and gentlemen, it's causing doubts. And just as with an individual Muslim, if you have an individual Muslim and you show him all this information, it makes him start having doubts. He'll start acting more devoutly Muslim because of the devout. He's compensating. And the ummah is kind of like that, in the sense that it's causing them doubts. How can we think that Allah is really on our side? And so they have to portray themselves as more devout and more obsessed with going after the Jews and so on. But I mean, yeah, the longer this continues, I think the more it's going to scramble their brains.
Yeah, that's pretty good. There was a Turkish series on Netflix, The Club, that was pretty good. Deborah, I think I saw it and turned it on sometime just for some background noise. Then it reminded me too much of how Turks are. Then I turned it off. And then I wished that I could go to a place where I can have my memories erased. Unfortunately, I can't. Yeah. Brother, I have doubts. Jew alumni. Yeah, I'm always in the background communicating with the Jews to find out how I should respond to the newest things that are going on. This is what we do. Candace does not represent us Christians, Catholics in general, but yeah. I grew up among Catholics. I went to a Catholic kindergarten in Germany. I grew up among Catholics and Protestants. I was in a very mixed environment, which was like 50-50 Catholic Protestant in Germany. And Catholics are amazing people. I've only met good people. Nobody,
Every Catholic on the world is as good as gold, AP. And you agree with the Pope now that any resistance against mass Muslim migration is a heinous sin.
Yeah. Literally every Catholic that exists in the world, literally every single person who says I am a Catholic is a good person. Ever. That's exactly what I said. Rejecting post-Vatican II popes asserting that the seat of the Pope is vacated. Yeah, it's somebody said, isn't that not Catholic? Then wouldn't that not be Catholicism then? Yeah, well, the Catholic Church considers it a heresy, but it's basically the idea is that the Second Vatican Council was never supposed to happen, that it was a perversion, that the popes that took over after that are not real popes, that they are apostates, or that the seat is basically empty, and that there has not been a legitimate pope since then. And the church, of course, considers this a heresy because the council is binding, And if you are Catholic, you're not supposed to. You can't just pick and choose and reject that. If you reject it, you're no longer part of the church, and so on. So yeah, alhamdulillah. Blake Angel said that's why you're based. I think this is her admitting that she's Catholic. Let's see. Caleb Robinson, I like how Muslims subconsciously believe. Yes. Beatrice Nunes said, after Kamala's love, who can we blame them for? Who can we blame them for not wanting to take the risk of hearing that in public? This is true. If you hear Kamala Harris laughing, you might become misogynistic immediately. Ari Wasserman, Mojab, a woman comes and goes in the shape of a devil. Dizzle puts on his wife's pink nightie and lipstick. Mojab runs home to Goat Hub. Dylan says, have you guys seen the debate between Andrew Wilson, Muslim Lantern, and Sneeko? I haven't.
We still might want to go through that as like an extra, because there's all kinds of stuff that
I don't like Andrew Wilson.
Over the next couple days.
I can't respect the guy, Andrew Wilson.
Doesn't mean it's not funny to watch him do some math on Muhammad and Aisha.
Maybe. I would totally watch Jay Dyer versus Muslim Lantern because I like Jay Dyer. And I would totally look at that. In fact, I watched a little bit of it, and I think it was pretty nice. And he buried them once again. But I just can't take the guy Andrew Wilson seriously, man. I don't know. And Wyckoff, Mossab Hassan Youssef should debate.
You're just mad because he burned up your boy, Matt Dillahunty.
No, you know what? I can't take someone seriously who's hosting or being a regular on a show like the Whatever podcast. It's like with Myron, and when they run Fresh and Fit. I mean, if that is your go-to place where you work, where you appear all the time, I just can't take you seriously. Sorry. Yeah. No, he will probably message me or post about me, challenging me to a debate.
Mm-hmm. And you'll be crushed and humiliated.
That's what he did about somebody else recently. Mossab Hassan Youssef should debate Candace Owens.
That would be awesome. You're not even fit to be a mother.
Cam, have you seen Medicayun video where Sneeko gets turned on by Andrew, and Andrew gets a mini me and starts making out with himself? Weird video.
What the heck? What kind of weird stuff are people watching? I don't even understand what this is.
I don't want to know any more about this. Kamal said, what should I tell someone that asks me why doesn't God regrow a leg in person that was born without a leg? I don't know what to say.
Then you'd have to study a little bit on the problem of evil, why bad things happen in our world, and so on.
I would say the question is a question. Tim Peterson says, David, are you proud of being Turkish?
No.
Okay. Fern the Fig says, I call Cenk Uygur chunk yogurt and would like to catch on, please, and thank you. Would like that to catch on. Yeah.
We've been seeing chunk yogurt for a while.
Chunk yogurt thinks everyone is a racist bigot. Lloyd444 says, I like my women how I like my coffee. Black, blonde, rose, silent, uneducated.
There you
Happy
go.
now, David. This must be what it's like to tell a theological joke to Mike Winger. Burn. You just got bushnelled.
Block this dude.
Lloyd444 said, jihad is nothing compared to Jihad. You see it? Ash McLeroy, POV, your Momo. Difference between Abu Bakr and Dihya al-Kalbi. Well, hanging out with Abu Bakr makes you a whole day, but just an hour with Dihya makes you a whole week.
Oh, boy. And it would be messed up. It would be messed up enough if it weren't true.
Yeah. I want to recommend a new book that I got. That's what I do nowadays. As a filthy Zionist, I want to promote this book, Stand Up Nation by Aviva Kolompas.
Hey, hey, do you ever read? Do you ever actually read books anymore?
No.
Like real books?
No, I don't read books. Books are gay. Andrew Tate said books are for losers and nobody should read books. So I don't do that.
No, I'm saying I thought it might be cool for us to read a book and do a review of an important book.
Yeah, maybe. Like what?
I was thinking about Gad Zad's book.
Oh,
he's got his book on what was it, the parasitic mind or something?
I listened to that through. But I could probably do that again.
Is it worth reading? I was thinking of something like that where we like go through it.
It is interesting.
See what the cool points are and see if we recommend it and stuff. Like we can do that periodically a couple times a year. Like
it has
book out.
It is a good book. It is really a good book, and it has some very interesting sections. And it even has so there are two things that I was very interested in that book. One is it has a whole part that deals with Islam. So that is something that we can go through. It deals with Islam as a parasitic thing in people's minds. And the other section is him talking about his childhood and upbringing in Lebanon during war and all that, or during the outbreak of the war as a Jew. And so there are those two sections that I remember that were quite interesting. That's definitely something that we could look into. But I thought you were going to say that we should look into something that is Islamic, because we got some books. I think we should react to one of those dumb books that those Muslims wrote at some point, like the whole Abraham thing, Islam Abraham. That's a very stupid looking book. We should totally do that.
Very dumb.
Yeah. If you want AP to focus, it better be Mein Kampf, said Mugiwara Luffy. I read that too many times, man. Can't do it again. Every day. I'm sick of it. Here is the solution if you have constipation.
This girl you just told me was Catholic. Tell me bragging about how Catholic she is.
Lloyd says the based book club I'm in.
That'd be funny, the based book club.
Oh yeah, I recently my wife just brought this up. What about the book The Jews and Their Lies?
Is there actually a book called The Jews and Their Lies? That's funny.
It's actually a book written by, I don't know if it's a book, but it's turned into a book, but it's a whole thing written by Martin Luther, actually. Martin Luther. It was Martin Luther who wrote it.
And then his next book, his next book would be Lies and the Jews who tell them. That'll be classic.
So for the longest time now, in online discussions, neo-Nazis and others, the gropers, came and put this book in my face and were like, "Well, look, even Martin Luther wrote something about Jews and their lies." And I thought, first off, with all due respect, why in the world would I give a crap about what Martin Luther said about Jews? Okay, with all due respect, why in the world would I give a crap about what Martin Luther said about Jews?
That is correct, and I can say even from a Christian perspective, even from a Protestant Christian perspective, if some Protestant at some point says something and you think it's wrong, you don't say, "Oh well, but he was a Protestant leader, therefore I have to agree with him." That would rail against the very idea of Protestantism, is that you don't have this.
Yeah.
You don't have this hierarchy of things that you have to agree with. So anyway.
Yeah, I also spoke with IP about this and others. He recommended to get in touch with actually a Lutheran guy that he knows. Lutherans have generally rejected and condemned Martin Luther's anti-Semitic aspects and his writings on that kind of stuff. I got the book specifically because I kept seeing this and I thought, I really wonder what he said. I really wonder what he wrote. So I got the book and I started reading it. And here's the thing. Look. I have for many years, for the longest time, had respect for what Martin Luther did, in a sense, which is his whole role in the Reformation, his objections to the Catholic Church, to the authority, and so on. And I understand why he has become such a crucial figure in Protestantism. But here is the thing: if somebody writes such garbage together with so much untruth in it, it's very hard for me to further respect that person and take that person seriously in their ideas in general. Because I opened the book, I started reading it, and the first thing that I read when he actually gets to the topic and starts talking about the Jewish lies is something about how Jews every day go and praise themselves as the chosen special people who are better than everyone else.
Hey, sounds like a groiper.
Simply by their bloodline and by their heritage and ancestry. And I thought, wow, are you freaking kidding me, man? This is the level of complete stupid nonsensical garbage that I would read from some idiot on Twitter. And this is what I read from Martin Luther. And it's just so stupid because as soon as I got the book, I was kind of trolling my wife there when I got the book and put it on the table, and she's like, what is happening? So
I'm really getting into this Martin Luther stuff.
So I opened the book and I started reading it, and I showed to my wife. I said, here, let me debunk this here in just 1 minute. So I read that section about what Jews supposedly do every day, and then I opened the Talmud. Right? I opened the Talmud and showed directly a quote from the Talmud that precedes Martin Luther by over 1,000 years. Okay, or nearly 1,000 years, around 1,000 years. It's a direct contradiction to what Martin Luther claims. Right? I'm actually going to put it up right here. I have it bookmarked. Just because gropers tend to be that retarded too. So Martin Luther claims in that book that Jews have this fundamental idea that they are better than everyone else just because of their bloodline, because they descend from other Jews and so on, because they were chosen by God and whatever it is. Now I'm going to go to the actual Jewish texts, to the most important part of the Talmud, to Sanhedrin, when it comes to law. And I'm going to read this here and put it right here on the screen. Look at this. Sanhedrin 37a. Sanhedrin 37a. This is the section that the Quran actually copied from the Jews, where the Jews were talking about whoever kills one person, he has killed all mankind, and so on. However, it goes then further, and here, look, here in the Talmud it says, the Mishnah cites another reason Adam, the first man, was created alone. And this was done due to the importance of maintaining peace among people, so that one person will not say to another, my father, i.e. progenitor, is greater than your father. And it was also so that the heretics who believe in multiple gods will not say there are many authorities in heaven and each created a different person. Right? So what does it say? And here it continues, and therefore, since all humanity descends from one person, each and every person is obligated to say the world was created for me, as one person can be the source of all humanity and recognize the significance of his actions. But specifically this part here, it was done for peace among people, so that one person will not say to another, my father, i.e. progenitor, is greater than your father. This is a clear contradiction. This fundamental teaching in the Talmud, directly about law, is directly in contradiction with this claim that both Martin Luther and gropers repeatedly make, that Judaism teaches that Jews are better than everyone else because of their ancestry or bloodline. It's so stupid. And I can't believe that this is something that even Martin Luther wrote. Martin Luther.
He did start losing it later in life, and he wrote that shortly before his death. And like 20 years earlier, he was writing essays saying that Jews need to be treated well and so on. He really, I mean, I don't know nearly enough about the history, but just the impression you get is that he's like Muhammad and that he like has this massive problem with rejection.
Yeah.
Like at first he's like, of course the Jews didn't accept the gospel. It's been, you know, people, they've been persecuted and they've been given a false picture of the gospel and so on. And so be nice to them, preach the real gospel to them. And he was even saying things like it's on God after that. It's on God to convert them. And later on it's burn their synagogues and so on. Once they didn't start converting as he thought they would. And again, it seems a similar thing with Muhammad, like, hey, Jews, Christians, you're rejecting me. So,
yeah. And I find it very ironic that the book is titled "On the Jews and Their Lies," and it's basically a lie about Jews. Anyway,
hey, we could use that title for like "On the Lies of the Dawa Clowns" or something like that.
Yeah, that's funny. On the Dawa clowns and their
Dawa
lies.
clowns and their lies.
Shannon Draper said, "Isn't the Talmud just a bunch of rabbis arguing with each other?" Yes, mostly it is. It's not a list of Jewish rules or what Jews have to believe, is it? Yes. It is vastly, the majority of it deals with simply rabbis discussing about certain things. And then it has an aspect, part of it is called halacha, which means it is a law, where they have clear consensual agreements, conclusions on certain things. The vast majority of it is simply rabbis discussing. That's it. Or saying, this rabbi said this one said that, this one said that, they disagreed, and so on. That's basically what the Talmud is. That's what they study. That's what Jews study. That's what they do.
And so we've pointed out, you can criticize the Talmud. If you want to criticize it, you say, Rabbi so-and-so said this, and what Rabbi so-and-so said is messed up. That's why don't listen to that rabbi. Listen to this other rabbi who said the opposite. That's how you do it. But that's not how the Nazis do it. That's not how the gropers do it. That's not how Muslim Dawa clowns do it. They look for any quote by any rabbi and they say, this is the Talmud, and the Talmud is like the Quran in the sense that it's just this collection of commands, and this is what all Jews believe.
I don't know why somebody started trolling about Martin Luther King, but yeah, we're not talking about Martin Luther King.
Yeah,
we're talking about Martin Luther.
Yes,
not Martin Luther King. Martin Luther. Martin Luther. Martin the Loser. That's what we're talking about, not Martin Luther King. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. David, anything else you want to say? Oh, wait a minute. Sekur said, if Isa is the word of God, according to Islam, doesn't make Isa the Quran. If the Quran is the word, which wouldn't make Isa a piece of Allah, therefore making Jesus and Islam a deity.
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple things here. The Quran is not Allah's only speech. So he has other revelations. And then a different kind, Isa would be a different kind of speech. Islam doesn't explain these things. And that's why even Muslims will even disagree on what the speech of Allah is. So historically, they disagree on whether it has a beginning or whether it's eternal, whether it's actually one of Allah's attributes and so on. But what you could say is the idea behind saying that Allah's speech, the Quran, is eternal, is that if this is some attribute of Allah, he's speaking, then he must do it from all eternity. Otherwise, he would have come up with a new attribute along the way. But, and here's the thing, here's where this would be relevant to your question. You could say the exact same thing about Jesus. If Jesus is the speech of Allah, then you wouldn't say that it had a beginning, or Allah would have picked up this new attribute over time or something like this. And therefore, sounds like Jesus would be eternal. And there was actually a fun old clip back when we used to do the show Jesus or Muhammad over on the Trinity channel, where a Muslim called in. We said, hey, so is Jesus the word of God? And the Muslim says yes. And I think it was a sheikh. We're saying, hey, is Jesus the word of God? And he's like, yes. And they go, does the word of God have a beginning, or is it eternal? And he says, it's eternal. And we all just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? You just admitted that Jesus is eternal and so on. Yeah. But side note, you also end up with some very interesting things on the spirit of Allah, because in passages about the spirit of Allah. It's something he breathes into. He breathes out and he breathes into certain things in order to make them come alive and so on. And so you'd have to say this. You'd have to have the same reasoning about the spirit of Allah that you do about the speech of Allah. It's not some new thing, and therefore it must be eternal that he's breathing out. But notice what you end up with if you just look at the implications of this. You've got the eternal word of Allah and the eternal spirit of Allah. It starts sounding like a copy of the Trinity without realizing it.
Alhamdulillah. That's what they do.
That is what they do.
That's what they do. Carlo Magno said Luther loved the Ottomans. The Austrian painter loved Luther too. When it comes to the Austrian painter, I don't think that the Austrian painter actually loved Luther or that he loved anything Christian at all. What the Austrian painter was aware of was that Martin Luther at that time had a lot of respect among Protestants in Germany. And what was important to him was to use the religious sentiments of people in order to convince them that his ideas are right. So he used Martin Luther, for example. He also used Nietzsche, which would be totally in contradiction, right? But he used Nietzsche to create propaganda for German thinkers that are in agreement with Nazi ideas and so on. Nietzsche would have hated the Nazis had he arrived at their time and so on. So, yeah. I call heaven and earth to witness that whether it be Jew or Gentile, man or woman, servant or maid, the divine rests upon each according to his deeds. Sounds like a quote from the book. Amitai says, Holt said, base the Apostles song on Oops, I Did It Again. That's funny.
That should be Muhammad Hijab's theme song when he keeps like saying really stupid things and then getting in trouble over it.
Yeah.
And then he apologizes. That should be his apology. He should have his own little apology. Oops, I did it again. I opened my mouth. I sent out a tweet.
That's true. That's true, mate. That's true, mate. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining. And thanks for listening. Make sure you like the stream and leave a like in it. And tomorrow, I think we're going to be live again on David's channel, innit?
No. I'm live with Rashid tomorrow, though you're welcome to join in.
Okay.
Rashid messaged me and he said he wants to do a show with his the 10 worst Quran verses. So I still haven't thought about it yet, because I'm totally willing to just sit here and let him go through the 10 worst Quran verses and have him break those down. But I was thinking it might also be fun if like I came up with a list. It might be fun if all of us came up with a list of the worst 10 Quran verses and then we like discussed, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
fun.
Hey, this is no, this verse is clearly worse than your number one verse.
That's fun. So tomorrow we will not be live on David's channel, but tomorrow David's going to be live with Brother Rashid on his channel, where they're going to talk about some uninteresting stuff about
it's going to be super based. Way more based than AP's channel.
No, it's actually a very interesting topic. The 10 worst Quran verses. Would always suggest checking out. Anna Sylvester said AP's chat is probably the only place where Christians and atheists coexist peacefully. LOL. That's kind of funny, isn't it?
That is.
Plus also Jews. I checked, and my audience nowadays is like 15% from Israel or something, like for a tiny country.
You see.
Black Angel AP totally humiliated. I know. David just really Bushnelled me with that response. That was pretty bad. What? Say hi. Is that what that says? I don't even know. I can't read. I need to work on my Hebrew. All right. Thanks everybody for joining. And also, before I forget, thanks everybody for joining. And while you're here, don't forget to like the stream. And as always, Jay says AP the Zionist chill. What are you talking about? I'm not a Zionist chill. I'm a Zionist. I'm a proud and happy Zionist. Here. Look, I just recommended this book earlier. Aviva Klumpus, fantastic person. We met her in person in Israel. Has a new book, Stand Up Nation. She was very based. And read it. Israeli Resilience in the Wake of Disaster. I'm a proud and happy Zionist. Look. Here. See? Hope this hurts you. No, I don't hope it hurts you. I just think that you should stop calling people these dumb things. Anyway, have a fantastic day. A goat upset Zionist chill.
Nice.
Thanks everyone for watching. Have a fantastic day. And as always, as our favorite goat likes to say,
stay away from Islam.